It helps when you have the mic in the right place. Kia ora, everyone. Hello, hello. Thought I was all ready to go, but not quite. Gotta get for zoning out for a while. But yes, kia ora, everyone. Welcome back. Hey, Sammy. We are back with this spread. We took a break last stream because I just had absolutely no brain spoons to carry on with the page. So we did some easy colouring last stream. And now we're going to get back to this. So we've made a lot of really good progress. We've done most of the bottom down here. We just need to do these last little plants. We need to do our characters on the boat, and then we're doing the water last, and we're doing the water last just so that I've got all the colors pulled out for all the reflex. I never put away my pens from last time, so I still have everything pulled out that we've been using, and we'll be hopefully getting through a lot of this. I would love by some miracle if we did finish this today. I doubt we will, but a girl can dream. But you know, we can be hopeful. But yeah, other than that, it's day 10 of the injection cycle, so we're feeling pretty rough today. But we're coping. I have no idea where the cat is, and I hope he's settled somewhere because he's being extra annoying and painful today. So on day 10 days I can get a bit more like inflamed, and him even just touching my legs can be really painful. So, but I think he's kind of gotten the hint and is keeping away. And yeah, we might as well just jump straight into it. So I'll try and remember what I was using all over the place. There is just all the pens and pencils everywhere. I ended up having a really chilled night last night, and actually spending the night playing The Sims for a change. I did do some colouring earlier in the day, but I was just kind of zoning out at night, and I was like, you know what, I really just want to play The Sims, and I'm just going to play The Sims. And I did. And it was a fun little break, and exactly what I needed. Sometimes you just need a night off, you know? So we took a night off. I'm still very much wanting to play The Sims. I'm very much in a Sims gaming mood at the moment. I go through these phases of like being all about playing video games, and then I stop playing video games for a good while. And I think we're moving a bit more into a video game phase, so I imagine I'm going to be playing a bit more Sims tonight. But we'll see what we can get coloured. Hi Amira, how are you going today? Welcome in. I'm just starting with some black, and we're just going to start basing the really dark areas of this plant. A lot of this is really quite dark. Like even the white flowers are quite dark as well. It'll also help with our transition to the water. And then we've got in here, and practically everything behind these orangey flowers is also dark. Now the reference picture does have the flowers here being a really bright orange color, and we haven't used that color anywhere on the page. And so when we left this off last Sunday, I talked about how I might change out the color option to be a bit more on the yellowy orange like we've used on the lamps, just so it's a little bit more cohesive, because this is such a vibrant pop of a very different orange and it's not used anywhere else. So just to break it up. How are you going today, Amira? I almost pulled our afternoon tea today and streamed working on that instead. I've got the page picked. I know exactly what page I want to do. I know exactly how I want it to look. It's not a Christmas page, so I'm trying to get all those pages done first, but I've got it pulled. I did finish off my last buddy yesterday, so that frees me up, which is a nice feeling to get all the buddies done. I have to just take a photo of it and send it through. And I've got this and one other of my essential pages to do. And then basically I'm through. Like the planned video that I put out for this month was, there's a list of about 8 pages. It's like, I really want to get these ones done. And then lots of, I'd like to get this one done. So this one and one other page are my, I need to get these ones done. And once they're done, we're free to go for anything. I've done more than just those 8. Also, I finally went and got gas for the soda machine because I finally have a soda stream maker thanks to the beautiful Sammy. So it was perfect timing. I've got just a little bit of bottled soda water, the sparkling water left, so I went and got the gas replaced and picked up bottles for it. And I also picked up like this pink grapefruit organic soda syrup. I don't know, it just looked really interesting. I was like, well, I've got still some plain sparkling water to use up in the fridge, so we'll try out a flavour in one of the bottles. It's so good. It's so tangy. I used very little of the syrup because I only like a hint of flavour to my water, but it's so tangy and refreshing, and I am just demolishing these bottles. I'm doing well. We have lots of snow up here in the mountains. Ooh. It sounds like a nice gadget. Yeah, it's been really, because I've been trying my best. Now, I still drink them. I'm having one today. It's day 10 and I'm running on empty. And admittedly, I've had a couple this week and it's been a bad week for them. But I've been trying to cut down on not only my energy drink intake, but also my soda intake. And like before I moved, I was 2 of these cans a day, and these cans actually say you shouldn't have more than 1 a day because of the caffeine content. So I was on 2. Some days I'd even have 3 of these. Like I was on a lot of energy drinks, and then also drinking a lot of coffee, a lot of cola, and a lot of fizzy. And when I was in the middle of the September breakdown, I ended up accidentally going 3 weeks without one because I had one in the midst of a massive spiral, which made me spiral even worse. So I just stopped drinking them, and then I didn't want any because I didn't want to spiral again. And then the next thing I knew, it'd be 3 weeks since I had one. And so since then, I have like most weeks I've had 1, if that. This week has been a bad week for it, but you know, it's all in the perspective of thing. The cut down has been massive, but then soda was a little harder for me to cut out. And I was thinking about why I drink so much soda, and it's not that I don't like water, because I really like water, and it's not even the flavor, because I find most sodas really, really sweet and use a ton of ice to water them down. So it wasn't this flavor, it wasn't the sweetness, it wasn't the caffeine necessarily. It was the bubbles. And so I started drinking sparkling water and using just a little bit of like dark grape juice to just slightly tint the water to have a bit of a flavor. And it meant that I just basically cut out soda as well, because it's those bubbles that I was missing. But I was just buying bottles of sparkling water, which, while it's not as expensive as a lot of things, it's still an expense I didn't need. But I was doing it until I could buy a soda stream maker, and then Sammy happened to mention that she had a spare one. So she sent that through with a friend who was travelling over this way. And yesterday I got the replacement water bottle. Not water bottle, gas bottle for it. So yeah, I drank 2 of these yesterday. But considering it's like 1 teaspoon of syrup, just so it's got a little bit of flavour in the background, because it's fun to add a little bit of flavour, but it's mostly just sparkling water. And yeah. And that's it. It's what I enjoy about it was the bubbles. So I just don't like flat water. I like bubbly water. Winter! I just came off a meditation. I was feeling so agitated. I came out of my room to your voice on the ear. Oh, well, I hope you're feeling more calm now and more in place and, you know, centered. Those are the words. Centered. I'm having another one of those brain days where brain no brain. But a meditation sounds perfect. We're in I'm a little quieter today. You may be noticing that. I am trying to keep my voice down a little bit, which is why I also had to move the mic closer to me, because we're not feeling too great today, both myself, but also my mum's not feeling great today. So she's actually hopefully passed out asleep. The hay fever is bad here today. Which is why I'm half expecting a cat to come and attack me because he's lonely. But I am trying to keep my voice down a little bit. She's at the other end of the house, but, you know, it's just being considerate. But also, it's like tomorrow is injection day, so we're really on the end of the injection cycle here. And I am feeling it, like... The way my injection works, if you're not aware, I take what's called a TNF inhibitor. So it is actually a mild form of chemo. And what it does is it goes to my immune system and says to it, hey, chill the F out. We're not sick. You don't need to attack organs and bones and stuff, because my disease is an autoimmune disease, because my immunity system attacks me, and that's what causes me to swell and be in pain. So this injection says to it, chill the F out, which means the system goes okay, and then doesn't also fight the stuff it's meant to fight, but at least doesn't fight me. But because it's on a 10-day cycle, you start off at a certain point where you've taken the injection. Like, you take the injection and I get a zoomies day because everything's chill, and I'm just like, oh, no pain, no inflammation, we can move. So we start out here, and then over that 10-day period we just drop and drop and drop until we get right to the bottom again. It's like, it's day 10, there's no injection left in my system, and my immune system's like, well, we better get fighting then. So yeah, it's like, it's the waves. So that's why day 10 can be quite a rough day for me. It's also like, some weeks we get to day 10, I'm like, oh, we're a little sore today, but it's not too bad. And then sometimes, like, we get to day 6 and I'm already done, and that's because my system's fighting more or different things. Like, yeah, it's wild. It's a wild ride. But basically the brain is like, nope, and the body is nope today. I at least have the brain spoons to work on this today, which is nice. I did not have the brain spoons last time. But I'm really glad we did do that sort of easy colouring last time. And we got so much done. We got 4 pages done. I'm trying to eat all my food in the cupboards before I go to the store. That's always a smart idea. That is a smart idea. It's always good to use up what you've got. Mum and I, like, we try to have a list, but we do go in. There's certain things we don't put on the list because we just get them every week, like toilet paper and cat food and milk, because Mum drinks milk in her coffee, so we get a milk every week. Like, there's a couple of things like that we just don't put on the list because they're essentials. But then as we use things up during the week, Mum will yell out and go, hey Amy, we need to add butter to the list. And so I'll grab my phone and I'll put it on a list that I keep on my phone so that we know the things, and we try to buy to replace, just because we've got so much in the cupboard. We are definitely people who tend to buy in bulk though, and certain things we'll also grab if there's a great special. Like, my mum currently has 6 bags of her coffee in the cupboard, but it was half its usual price, so it was like, buy the 6 while it's half price. It's not going to go off, we use it so frequently, and then when she does run out, she's got it and it's cheaper, and we can keep on restocking it as it's cheaper. So we try to do that with certain things too. I'm getting pretty low on my own coffee, and there hasn't been a good sale on it lately, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that. It makes sense. I imagine it's really rough. Some weeks are really bad. Some weeks, yeah, it's sucky, but we make do. It is like, I've accepted that this is my life. I'm never going to be the type to run marathons. It's a good day if I make it through the day without a nap. Yeah, I just accept the fact that I have a chronic illness. I have a mobility issue. I don't like saying disabled, but I am classified as disabled. I need a walking frame to mobilize, but yeah, like, it is my life. And on the grand scheme of things, the life is pretty sweet. Like, I'm pretty lucky. I get government support to assist me with living. I'm still able to work 2 hours a day, so I get a little bit of extra money. And it does mean that I have a lot of free time for colouring, which is a very gentle hobby, which allows me, which I can do when I'm in pain, because I can take it all into bed. I can colour in bed. I can, like, there are certain things I'm like, oh, like, I've been watching lots of, on YouTube, these videos. It's quite often they're Korean videos, and it's, women going camping in Korea, and I kind of want to do that here, like, just go into the bush in the middle of nowhere, set up a tent, set up a fire, have my colouring books, and just go and colour in the middle of nowhere and just be surrounded by nature and peace. Like, that just feels like a dream. But, like, I'm aware that, you know, I can't just go for a hike in the forest. That's not quite a feasible option for me. And it's okay, you know? Yeah. Hope you're doing better. I have a new page in Godule that to begin, and maybe the adjacent page. Weekend will be super busy. Got the girls and the family coming to do traditional Ludvigian baking. Need to sort out the basement so kids will have a place to hang out on Christmas Day to watch movies, colour, etc. Oh my goodness, it does sound like a busy weekend, yada. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us probably have that busy sort of weekend coming up. Because tomorrow is injection day, I am hoping to get the zoomies and start helping. Like, I need to do a big clean. Like, I need to clean in here. I need to get the vacuum cleaner in here so badly. But I also want to vacuum the main house, and I also really want to get into the cupboards and pull out all the stuff in the cupboards and just rearrange the cupboards so that we can fit stuff in better. Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping tomorrow, when I have my injection, like, sometimes tomorrow's injection day, but it takes quite a few hours for it to kick in. So sometimes I'll take the injection the night before and then go to sleep, and when I wake up, it's like I'm good to go. And yeah, it's like, so I'm kind of hoping I'll wake up tomorrow and just be like, let's go, and start all the cleaning that I want to get done. If I can at least get the vacuuming and mopping done, then I'll feel like I've achieved something. Like, it doesn't all have to be done tomorrow, but there's a lot that I would like to get done. And like I said, I really need to get the vacuum cleaner in here. These, like, sections of the carpet that look like they've got massive stains in them because these cat fur. But I need to come out to Lurk and briefly do that if you like those. I will take virtual internet hugs. I'm a little iffy about real life hugs, but virtual internet hugs are fine. Finally got the ceiling tiles in the basement replaced, so it needs a major cleaning. Oh, yeah. Building work generates so much dust. So much dust. I'm definitely one of those people that if you meet me in real life, you need to check that I'm okay with getting a hug from you. It's twofold. A, I have to feel comfortable enough to be willing to hug you, but even if I am comfortable enough, depending on my pain level of the day, a hug can be freaking painful. Like I was saying earlier about how I'm really glad Shadow's not around me at the moment, because even him putting his paws on my legs today to try and get some pets is too much, and I'm too sensitive to it today. So it's just a simple thing like someone with chronic pain, they may be okay with getting hugs, but just check, because it could be a day where even you touching them gently can be too much. Like days like this, a simple thing like my clothes can be too painful to wear. Which sounds ridiculous, but I am the type of girl that wears socks 24/7. I do not like not wearing socks on my feet because feet get cold, but I can't wear socks on my right foot today because it's too painful. So I have some super loose bed socks that I usually would wear, but I just couldn't find them because I also need to clean up my bedroom. But yeah, I have some socks that don't have, they're basically tubes for my feet. There's no compression on them. And these are the socks that I usually wear on the day when my foot is like, because I can't have socks touching my foot today. Yeah. It's okay, Myunga. You're welcome to lurk. You know you're always welcome here to lurk. And, you know, I do get that. It can be, especially if you don't know a lot of the people around, or it's a new space, it can be scary to comment. I know that there's a lot of people that just have me up in the background while they colour along, and I love that. My goal with streaming is to just share the hobby that I love and create a space for people to feel comfy in. And if you feel comfy enough just to lurk, that's still a win. Like, if you feel comfy enough to comment, cool. But if you just feel like you just want to hang in the background, you do you. I hang out at a lot of streams and I don't always comment. I don't always chat because I don't have the social comfiness to chat that day. I'll just leave it up in the background and just be working along and still be there watching, but not necessarily chatting. As long as you feel comfy cozy, that is my goal. Just to chill out, vibe, hang. I mean, gosh, I have had entire streams where I can see from my stats I've got 15, 20, 25 people watching and not a single person has chatted because you're lurking in the background, and that's fine. I can chat to myself for hours. I do that offline. I will do that all the time. Like, I'll just sit here and chat to myself. I can entertain myself and the many voices in my head for many hours and just ramble about a lot of random topics. Stream often feels like me just unloading my mind because I'll just talk about whatever's prevalent on my mind at the time. The ramble. The good old ramble. I'm a half lurker. I comment, but I often go silent for stretches at a time. And that's valid too. Sometimes I come in and say hi and then don't say anything else. Sometimes I don't even say hi because I'm not in that space to. And then sometimes I come in and I write entire novels and have entire chats for 2.5 hours. Socialization is a lot though. So, yeah. As I said, as long as you feel comfy cozy, you hang out however you're comfy to hang out. I mean, these people that put me on to fall asleep, and I actually really love that. I find that a huge compliment because I am someone that to fall asleep, I do, I need to be in a safe environment to fall asleep. And so you putting me on to fall asleep to means that you feel safe with me. And that's exactly what I want with what I stream, which is like the biggest compliment. And some people might say, oh, but that means they're finding you boring. I'm like, no, that means they find me comforting and safe. And that's what I want. So yeah, for me, it's like the biggest compliment when you say, I'm putting you on to fall asleep. I talk to myself, the cats, the plants, the pencils in the colouring book, and at times the dustbin is on the floor. Gotta get your social up. What colourful worlds? Hello, hello. I'll be in and out, but wanted to say hi. That's all good, hon. You have a good day, Andrew. You lurk away. Again, I know it's a time of year where a lot of us have a lot of things we're trying to do, you know, get that cleaning done, get those projects done. The time of year for chaos. So we're just taking a little moment away from the chaos. I want a little bit of yellow. Beans! Hello, hello. How are you going, Sophie? Not quite the right yellow, but it will kind of tie in. Again, I don't want to pull out new colors at this point because we kind of have our palettes sorted. So I just want to keep our colors consistent. We're just going to bring in all those colors that we've used around because our white isn't actually pure white. It's got lots of little hints of color. So this is where Polychromos and their layering abilities are great because we can layer in little touches of color. Might be too intense of a blue. Doing good, thanks. How are you? I'm not doing too bad today. Not doing too bad. Day 10, so we're a little on fire. I know that I did the right thing last night. I was going to sit down and try and work on some new colouring pages, and then I was like, nope, we need a self-care night. And colouring is not what I need to do to self-care tonight. So I ended up playing The Sims. Which is wonderful because I haven't played The Sims in quite a while and I've got quite a long running save. I had, the last time I played The Sims was the Sims sale. And I think July is when they do their summer sale. It's when they put a lot of their stuff on like 50% off. And so I brought a few new packs and I hadn't played all the features of the pack yet. I still haven't, I'm still working on it. But one of the packs that I got was Island Living, which is Sulani, which is where you can turn your sim into a mermaid. So I was having fun playing a little character that's a marine biologist and is a mermaid. And there's a side mission where you can kind of clean up Sulani a little bit. So I was just working on that. And yeah, I ended up playing that for several hours and it was a lot of fun. And just what I needed. Good relaxing night. And honestly, I'll probably play it again tonight. It's one thing that I like. I'm not a huge game streamer. We do occasionally play some games on the channel. Particularly if that's what the body needs. We did a run of Lego games a little while ago, for example, in September. But one game I've never been able to stream is The Sims, because that game takes a lot of computer resources. I would love to stream The Sims though. I really love playing Rags to Riches challenges, and there's so many like legacy challenges and stuff like that that are fun to play as well. Okay. Oh, excuse me. There's my bright pink. Bring just a little bit of pink in. Because our white flowers aren't white. And again, they'll pop a little bit more when we do the blue behind it. The dark blue and all the colour reflex. Because again, this is so light that it's not really making it pop. The same as when we did the lanterns. Which if you haven't seen, I really love how our lanterns turned out. I still wish these black lines weren't as visible, but I can't really get them down any duller. But I do really like how our lanterns look against that sky. Alright, so we've got these little flowers in the corner, and you can see on the reference just how orange they are. This orange is very different to the other orange that's on the page. So this is more like a pinky peachy orange, and this is like a very classic orange, like a very red yellow orange, and not quite right. And because we haven't used it anywhere, I don't want to introduce it. So instead I'm going to pull out the same sort of pinky orangey yellows that we've been using on the lanterns. Just keep it a bit more consistent. We'll need a little bit of brown just to shade as well. These are really blobs again, so we're not going to worry too much about color. We're just going to start blending in some tones. Layering in the different pencils. Letting certain pencils be more prevalent in certain areas to give dimension. Going right over with this yellowy color, because this will also blend into the background a bit. Make it look like there's a tint of color over the green, like there's more in the background. Yeah, all going well. By some miracle, we might finish this today. I'm not expecting to finish this today. Some miracle, it would be nice too. Then we can start something else on Sunday. I have a couple of things that I want to try and get coloured. But also, it'll be what it'll be. These are a little bit, no, Payne's Grey is going to be too cool. These are actually a bit warmer. Use Walnut Brown. Use that to deepen some areas, to recess back some of the flowers. Give it some dimension. And then we have the flower highlights. Now, I do have an orange Posca. I even have it pulled out. But again, this is not being used anywhere else, and it's going to look very odd. So I don't really want to use that. I do have this coral pink. You're really on the pink side. Then we have yellow, ivory, and white. I think we'll actually do ivory. But we're going to do it really, really light and thin. We're going to drop it on and highlight areas and then immediately start picking it up. And that'll give us a highlight, but a toned down highlight. Yeah, I think that'll work. We work super, super lightly over the highlight. We can warm it up a bit with this pencil. I think a softer pencil would be even better for it. Do you ever frame your coloured pages? Typically, no. I do have one page that is framed, which is a Teresa Goodrich page from It's a Cat's World, which is the kitty and like a bunch of cakes for afternoon tea. Because when I started colouring it, I coloured it like Shadow, which is the cat here. And at the time I wasn't living at home, but I coloured it inspired by Shadow. And my mum actually asked if she could have the page. And of course, Teresa Goodrich, Creative Haven books, you can actually remove the page. So I removed the page out, I photocopied it, gave the original to mum and have a photocopy back in the book. But I genuinely just leave them in the book. Generally leave them in the book. I've thought about it. I've had a lot of people ask if they can have the pages, but most books aren't really well designed for framing. Obviously, Creative Haven ones, you can very easily remove the page. Even in like mythographics and stuff, I could remove some, but I also like leaving them in the books. I feel like they're a little bit more... I know, I like flipping a book with lots of coloured pages in it. Like flipping Mythomorphia with how close it is to completion. It's quite nice. Okie dokie. What are we going to work on now? Well, we have to start on the boat sometime. Alright, let's start with Eugene's jacket here, because this is pretty straightforward. Part in here is quite dark. So is this area, which is very confusing, because I feel like that would actually be catching the light from the lantern and not be in shadow, but okay. Like, it's definitely getting light from this side, but it should also be getting under light, so I feel like that would also be in light, but okay. Okay, reference. My perpetually stuck black pencil. A tiny, tiny little black pencil, and it has been so wedged in there. And it's down to here, and I can never get it to move. It's just forever stuck in this extender. We've got lots of little details to do now for this boat. Okay, Doodoo, hello, hello. Yes, we are working on the Thomas Kinkade book. We are working on the Tangled double page spread, not double page spread, wow. I'm having a words day. We're working on the Tangled light scene, so yeah. It is as much as a challenge as I expected it to be, but I like how it's progressing. We are up to our boat and our characters, and then we'll do the water, and then it's all done. So, home stretch. I spy something beginning with P. Do you spot Polys? Do you spot Prismas? Do you spot Pablos? Do you spot Posca? I've only done the first 2 pages of the Disney book I have. In the same Disney Dreams Thomas Kinkade book. This is my first page in here. I have been... May I spotted pencils? Yeah, I thought it might have been the Pablos. TK Dodo is a game, but also beautiful colouring Twitch channel. And I discovered them colouring in Teresa Goodrich, so, you know, it was definitely a mutual love of Teresa Goodrich, but also how they used Pablos, and were the one that introduced me to Pablos, basically, and started me on the wish list for wanting to get Pablos. And then I was gifted a set of Pablos by a very generous person, so I have 30 Pablos now, and they are brilliant, and I definitely want to expand the range. And they work so well blending with the Prismas and Polys as well, so it's like a good in-between for the 2 of them. But yeah, I do end up using them a bit. Yes, I've had some very, very generous people gift me some absolutely beautiful gifts lately, and I'm so forever grateful. I think 3 more books too that I want to work in this month that were gifted to me. I was gifted a Teresa Goodrich. I got Afternoon Tea. I was gifted that one recently. Sure, it's over here. There it is. These like 20 books piled up at the moment. So I have a Frog's Tale by R.J. Hampson that Winter gifted me. I still haven't figured out what page I'm doing in here. And then I was gifted Afternoon Tea, and I've got a few pages marked, but I actually know which one I want to start with, so I don't need to have them all marked. But this one here, I want to do her with blue hair and a strawberry shortcake, which is one of my favourite cups of things of cake. But yeah, I really want to do this one here and colour this like it's my bike, and we just pretend it's all me. It's not me. I even have like this really pretty dark blue dress that I could do inspiration from that is this sort of style as well. Yeah. So I'm excited to work in that one. That one was a beautiful gift from Amira, and then this was a beautiful gift from Winter. And I haven't decided which one I want to do in here yet, because I keep on flipping it and I'm like, oh, that one and that one and that one and that one, and then I just basically mark the whole book. I did get them covered though. They have been covered. I also have a little Christmas book in the file. Here it is here. This is another gifted one from Amira that I want to do a little something in. I'm kind of thinking I might save this one for Christmas Day and work in it with my nibblings, because it's the sort of thing that they would also enjoy colouring. So we might work on that one on Christmas Day. And then I have piles of books that I've brought that I want to work in as well. So, and then my actual Christmas books that I want to work in as well. Like, the pile is ridiculous. So, yeah. The Winter Wonderland has a bit dodgy line work, but still a good book. Yeah, I do eventually want to start getting more and more of her older books. I do want to get her Summer Scenes one. But yeah, the Afternoon Tea was like the next one on my list that I was going to get. So that was just like so perfect from Amira. I don't know if you saw too, TK Dodo, in the Facebook Teresa Goodrich group. I actually participated last time, and I got like 3rd place or something in the placement. So I'm like halfway to a book in the group now. I was pretty stoked. But I haven't found one that really works for this month's theme that I really want to colour. So yeah, but I'm halfway to a free book now with points, so I'm pretty stoked about that too. Dee, hello. Kia ora, welcome in. Sorry, I'm just getting completely distracted. That'll happen a lot. Yeah, just talking about all the things I want to color. I'm in two minds because there's like all these pages I want to color that aren't Christmas related, but I was meant to be doing only Christmas, but also I'm distracted by the non-Christmas as well. But once I finish this one, which is actually a Christmas page, it does relate to Christmas. It has a lot of personal meaning, not the Tangled movie, but the lights in the park represent a very common Christmas activity here, which is our local park putting on a festival of lights. And you can ride boats on the lake, and these usually a bunch of floating lanterns. So this reminds me of Christmas. I know it's not Christmas for anyone else, but this is a Christmas page to me because of that memory, even though it's Tangled. That's how I'm getting away with it. But yeah, I'm in two minds because I've got this one and the Lizzie Mary Cullen book, which I want to do more in as well. And then I have the double page spread in Erie that I really wanted to get to. And I haven't got into that yet. It's like, do I have time to do a double? Yeah. Yeah, I only joined the challenge if it happens to be something I want to do at that moment. Yeah, I took that to heart when you mentioned that, Dodo, TK Dodo. And that's the same as me as well. Like, I don't participate all the time, but if the challenge lines up with a page or a book that I want to work in, it's like, okay, yeah, no, we'll go for it. So, but yeah, I've found like maybe a page that would work, but the hard thing is that it's meant to be like a Christmas activity you love doing, but all my Christmas activities are in summer, and I don't have a page for it. Like, all of them are like winter caroling and like snow activities. It's like, we're going to the beach. Yeah, no, that makes sense. If the challenge is flowers, but I feel like colouring cookies, then cookies it shall be. Exactly. I'm not going to change what I want to colour and force myself to colour something just because that's what someone else wants. The same thing with like buddy colours and challenge prompts and stuff. Like, I like doing them, but if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm part of the Fairy Tale and Folklore's buddy colouring group, and we have a Baubles page, and I genuinely am not feeling it. I have no ideas. I can't figure out what to do, and I don't want to force myself to do the page. So if I'm not feeling it, not feeling it. Yeah, I have done the Christmas beach page and Christmas charm. That I did the Santa on the beach page. I found another tropical page, but it doesn't have the people, so it doesn't meet the requirement for this month's challenge. Yeah. Brittany, hello. I know all about the chaotic distraction and the brain girl. Yeah, I get very distracted on stream. I love it though. Did you know they're in the works for a live action Tangled movie? And no one says you have to colour Christmas page at Christmas time. Exactly. You don't have to. You absolutely do not have to. I just wanted to. I like colouring Christmas pages at Christmas time, but like, I haven't just coloured Christmas. I've completely coloured other things as well. And I will. Like, there's just, I want to be an octopus. I have like 8 pages I want to work on at the same time. So, since we're fully distracted now. As I said, we've got this one. We've got... where are you? Nope. Video where it's gone. I have misplaced this book so many times, and I find it, and then I misplace it again. There it is. I also have, so I have the Tangle page, I have the Kiwi Christmas spread in Lizzie Mary Cullen's A Magical Christmas, but I do want to do a couple more in here. Like, these can be quite quick with Inktense. I really like the North Pole house here. I think that's going to be a quick one. This one's got a lot of detail, so it's taking a while. But I do want to knock out another one in here. I got the page in Afternoon Tea I want to do. I want to find a page in A Frog's Tale to colour a page in that one. That one I'll probably try and do Christmas Day with the nibblings. I've got the Wicked colouring book, and I want to colour a page in the Wicked colouring book. I got the Goddess coloring book, and there's actually a Kiwi page in here, a Papatuanuku. So I really want to color this one. I got the Critical Role Fern Colorway Faye Adventure Coloring Book. Now this is a choose your own adventure coloring book, so I can't go too far into this, but basically it's got a story attached and then you have options that you choose on where to go. So I actually want to color these ones on a video and have you guys vote as to which direction we go next. So I have not flipped through this book because I don't want spoilers on the story. So I'll color it and then put out, like, read the adventure and then put forward our options and we'll vote to see where we go. So that's something that I want to do. I'm just shaking the camera there. Fuzzy hug. And then I have Romantic Country, and I have a plan for this page here, the double page spread. I think it might even still be on the computer. Like, this is the chaos that I am surrounded with at the moment. So I digitally planned out the page. I have a color scheme. I have an idea in mind. So I want to do this one as well. So I haven't even started on that one, but I've had that planned since like the 2nd of December. And then my tag is falling out. It's not great. But then back here, there's also this one that I want to do, because this is a New Year's Eve page. So I want to do that one as well. I have a buddy in Dungeon Meister's Goblin Quest, but that is also going through January, so it's not a high priority, but I do want to work in that one. Like, I don't know if I have time to do this, but there's also some really gorgeous Christmas pages in here that I wanted to do. Where is it? It's ridiculous. I don't really have time for another double, but somewhere in here there's a Candy Village. I'm sure it's this one. It's one of Kanoko's books that has a Christmas Candy Village. Yeah. So this is the ridiculous pile that's around me. There's still more around me, but those are the ones that I'm like, you know, like I've got Teresa's Christmas books marked. One of them I did have a summer page marked. Tag might have fallen out. Very possible. Yeah, this one. So I found another Kiwi Beach page, a Christmas summer page, so I want to get that one done too. So this is the absolute chaos that is surrounding me. And it's like, yeah, I don't have time for all this month, but we'll get done what we can, you know. There's still more around me, but as long as I finish these two, these are like the main two that I want to get done. It'd be nice to work in some of the new books and stuff like that, but yeah. Anyway, let me catch up. On Twitch, hi Chai, gonna be lurking while I do things and get inspired. Heck yeah, all good. Enjoy your lurk, Chai. Your being live is a good distraction for me, sitting at the ER waiting to see a doctor. Oh, love the art style of that book, the Fae Fantasy book. It is so cute. I have been avoiding flip throughs of it because I've got this idea of doing it as the choose your own adventure. It just came at the wrong time, but I don't know why they released it this time, but that's fine. I'm trying to because as I work during the month, I usually have a couple pages on the go, but I try not to have more than 5 pages on the go at once. This excludes whips. This is like what I'm actively working on in the month. So like the pages that I'm working on for the month in here, I try not to have more than 5 on the go because I find myself getting too overwhelmed. And if I have 5, like one's usually a stream page, one's a YouTube recording page, and that leaves 3 open to be working on. And that's usually about what I like to limit myself at. If I have too many, I get overwhelmed with all the pages that I need to get done. Why are you mowing the lawn right outside right now? Welcome 365 days of Christmas with Amy. Sorry. Hello, Amy. Hello. Can you not do a flip without the story, possibly? I'm a speed reader. Like, I just have to blink at the words and I've read the page, which is great because it means I can read a book in 2 hours, but it also means that if I flip, I'm going to have read the story, and I don't want to have, like, inclinations or, like, knowing where the story might go, because if I do this choose your own adventure style color along, like, I don't want to lean you guys in a direction when I put up the vote to say, are we going to go to this page, or this page? And it will show in my voice, because I'll be like, do we want to go to page 2, or do we want to go to page 4, or do we want to go to page 5? Like, I won't be actively telling you, but my inclination would put in that I'm more excited about a page, and subconsciously you would read that and lean towards voting for that page because I would be more excited to go to that page. So that is why I don't want to read ahead, and that's why I don't want spoilers on the flip. So yeah, it's okay. Like, I know other people have put a flip up of that book. I believe Colors has put up a flip of the book, and yeah, it'll just be a fun little thing to work through with y'all and be like, cool, okay, read out the story, work on the page, and then, okay, now we can flip. Do we go to page 2, page 3, or page 4? Enjoy your look, TK Dodo. Hello again, Brittany. I finished a page last night. Now I don't know what to colour in. Plus full-blown Luposphere. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Flare-ups are never fun. Oh. So, where I live, like, my window's right here, and I overlook like a valley and a river, and like there's no neighbors this side, but there is a driveway that is quite low below me because there's neighbors right down, like really far down that way, and that's their driveway. You can't see the cars or anything from where I am because it's so low, but there's just the smallest little grassed embankment there, and one of the neighbors is apparently mowing it, and now my nose is itchy from grasses. But thank you, but not really. Ugh. Yeah, we were just talking before about all the things we want to colour and having difficulty choosing. I mean, you can always use like a random generator or like a spinny wheel and put your options in there and be like, cool, I'm working on this. Sometimes it doesn't work for me though if I'm absolutely forcing myself to work on a page. And I just end up not really caring about what I've done on the page. So sometimes that works for me, but sometimes it doesn't work for me. Because usually when I start or am working on a page, I'm in a specific type of mood for a page, a specific type of media mood, or a certain type of style. Like sometimes I sit down, it's like, I want to work on something cute and colourful, and so that's when I know I need to pull out like the simple colouring books, or the cute and cozy, or a little bit more cartoony or chibi, or you know, that. Some days it's like I sit down, it's like I specifically want to play with Polychromos pencils, so what can I work on that requires Polychromos pencils? And then some days it's like, I specifically want to color this one specific page in this one specific book. Which is another reason why I like to have a few pages on the go at a time. I haven't coloured in a week and a half, Amy, just with the holidays and whatnot. Have got into a little bit of a holiday slump, plus feeling off is not the top of my days list. That's so valid, D. Like, sometimes I think we also need a break from colouring, especially with like the pressure that we put on ourselves with, especially if you make content surrounding colouring. Like, I call YouTube the side hobby of the hobby. Like, it is not the priority for me, because colouring is my mental wellness activity, but that also means that sometimes that is not the activity I need for my mental wellness, which is why, like last night, I played The Sims because I just needed to play video games. That was what was going to, that was my mental wellness activity last night. And that's, like, that's valid. Sometimes you can have a bit of creative burnout and you don't need colouring. You need video games, you need a book, you need puzzles, or, you know, you need something a bit different. I'm supposed to be wrapping presents, but I don't want to do it. I like wrapping presents, but I also don't have a lot of presents to wrap, so I think that kind of changes it. It can be a very cumbersome job if you've got a lot of presents, though, I can imagine. I can't start a new page until I finish the one I am working on. Is that like you tend to only work on one page at a time? I can't imagine doing that. I mean, I try to limit myself to about 5 because I know I get overwhelmed with too many on the go at once. But also, like, the different pages have different moods. Yeah. I'm supposed to check my mum's laptop to make sure it can print from my pinch in the bedroom, and I had to text my mum to tell her. Oh gosh, tech stuff is awful. Exactly, Amy. Sometimes it feels like pressure when we do a YouTube channel. We feel obligated to put content out. It's supposed to be about relaxing and enjoying for ourselves. Exactly. Like, I have been filming the Magical Christmas page that I've been doing with Inktense pencils, which has meant some nights I've come to the desk and I've wanted to work on it, but I can't film at night because my lighting setup doesn't work for night. I have to film during the day, and I haven't had a chance to work on it during the day because there's been other things during the day. And I was thinking about it before, and I was like, I don't have Saturday, I don't have Sunday, I don't have Monday, and I don't have Tuesday. Wednesday is Christmas, I don't have Thursday, I don't have Friday, I don't have Saturday, and I don't have Sunday. And that's kind of taking us towards the end of the month, and it's like, I legit have run out of time to work on this during the day, so I might just have to not actually put this out as a video. And I was like, that's fine. That's the way it is. I don't have time during the rest of the month to sit down and film during the day, because the rest of my days are kind of being taken up by other things. It's like, okay, well, we just legit don't have any other content filmed for this month, and that's okay, because again, it's a side hobby of the hobby. I try to put up a completed pages, and some months it's literally the only video you're going to get. Some months you get completed pages and plans. Sometimes you get other things. I've had some happy mail, so there was some happy mail that went up. But yeah, that's about it. I have started organising like my year in review stuff, but I kind of want to wait till January to film all my year in review stuff. I might sit down and film like a 2025 goals video or something, or just talk about the plans for 2025. That one wouldn't be a hard one to sit down, and I could probably squeeze out half an hour to film that. But yeah, like, I was just thinking about it. It's like, oh, I actually don't have another day that I can sit down and film this, so cool, we just won't, and instead I'll just start working on it at night. I started my channel to share the hobby with others who love the hobby, not to make money or influence anyone, but just be myself and real. Exactly. That's exactly it. It's just about sharing the love of the hobby. Whips would make me crazy and I'd lose my plan. I do get that, Yana. Because I have gotten my whip list down a lot. Because again, at the start of 2023, I had 58 whips. And I've gotten that down a lot. I don't want to mention how far we've got it down. It's in single figures. To give you context, it's in single figures. But I'm pretty pleased at how far I've gotten it down. But there's definitely there were some older ones that I couldn't remember what I was doing or what the plan was, what my intention was. And it's nice to have cleared those out. Also, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. New YouTube subscriber. Right, now we need to bring in some red to this boat because there's actually a lot of red in here. I've got you really zoomed out as well, my bad. Bring me back in a minute. Grab you. And, oh, reach. Grab you. My hair is everywhere today. It's not cat hair everywhere today, it's my hair. Hair is so itchy. Hay fever season. Start by adding a layer of burnt sienna. Warm everything up a bit. Working around tiny Pascal. In fact, we're going to work over Pascal because he's so bright green. I think we're going to use the Poscas to bring him out. He's basically just blobs. He's just blobs. At the end of the day, there should never be any pressure with colouring. If you know, I know, especially watching some of my videos where I put out my completed pages and it's like, I did 45 pages this month. And you might go, I didn't even complete a single page. It's fine. It's like, there is no pressure with colouring. We shouldn't feel like we need to do X amount of pages per month, or we need to, you know, do this, or we only can use these materials, or we can only colour in these books, or anything like that. Like, colouring, it's the process of colouring that's really important. It's not even about like the end result. I mean, some of my pages, the end results, you look at it and you're like, oh god. And it's like, it's fine. It's not about that. It's about the process of colouring. And some nights I just need to slap ink on a page and be done, or chuck some pencil around and be like, cool, we're done. Because that was the mood and the vibe on the day. Because colouring is the mental wellness activity. So it was about the process of colouring the page, not the actual result of the page. Yeah, it's nice to have a beautifully coloured page at the end of it, but as long as you got what you needed out of colouring it, who cares what the end result looks like? Right, we need to darken this part down here. Why am I yawning? I mean, I always yawn, we know this, but still. Use this all over the brown. Probably should be using an extender on this one, but oh well. I tried to get myself set up to stream go well. I ended up very frustrated. I know, Winter. What part was frustrating you? If I can help in any way, please let me know. I know one of the big things of YouTube is you need to do the application thing to live stream 24 hours before you want to live stream, because they do have like a 24-hour thing before you can go live for the first time. Once you've done that for the first time, you're all good. I know that's caught a few people off. It's definitely like there's a learning curve to setting up to stream, but once you kind of get that setup part done and you get it figured out, pretty fun. Like, I enjoy it. Live streaming is definitely my favorite form of content to make, which is why I tend to do it so much, because it feels just like you're hanging out with friends and vibing and chatting. I did already go live first time many months back. I went straight for YouTube and the quality was awful, so I tried to download a couple of stream softwares. Okay. I can't get my phone, which I use for filming, to sync up with the desktop. Yeah, there are a few apps, but it does take a lot to have a phone sending data to a desktop, which then also has to send your data up as well for live streaming. Haven't played around with the phone sync part because I have a dedicated webcam that I use for filming and streaming, which is definitely the way I prefer to do it. I have the Logitech Brio, which is the camera up here, and then I have a C920, which is my face cam. The C920, the Logitech C920, is quite a good cheap starter camera if you are looking at the webcam. Yeah, there's definitely user cord to connect to the laptop that connects things that way. Yeah, I think a lot of people do use it. There are a few apps as well. I know Sammy used an app on her phone to turn her phone into a portable camera, but it was quite laggy, and then you don't have the same sound control and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it. It's wow. It depends what sort of quality you want to put out as well, because live streaming from a phone, there are ways to do it where you don't lose quality, but I'm not 100% sure on how to do those ones, because again, I don't film with my phone. I do everything through webcams, and I use OBS to record my videos, which I also use to live stream. Because I have like the live stream set up here that you're seeing here, but I also have just a top down view, and this is what I use for filming videos. I even have like just me, so I can film me just for like if I need to be on a starting introduction, as well as, you know, all my live stream setups, things like that. So I can set this all up and I don't have to worry about changing over or anything like that, which makes it easier for me. I mean, it takes a minute to set this all up, but yeah. I tried using a cord and it worked, but yeah, it refused to behave in any logical way. Oh gosh. I'm looking into getting a tablet so I can use my phone to film my lives and easily see the comments on my tablets. That's not a bad idea, D. That's not a bad idea. I played around with OBS and Streamlabs, super cool. I saw all the setups, but I think I need to get a real camera. It definitely works a lot better with an actual webcam, and like it does work a lot better. Because of course the webcam is directly feeding into your computer, so immediately you don't have that lag of your phone trying to send the data to your computer. You have more control over the camera as well, because I've got, you know, I've got pre-set up a couple of levels of zoom in here, but it also means I can pull up the software for it, and I can, you know, do our zoom ins, but I can also adjust the image on the fly, so I can change the focus if I need to. I can, you know, adjust the lighting or compensate for the lighting. Actually, I should turn off auto exposure, apparently. Look at that, we're suddenly much brighter. I should have turned off auto exposure a while ago. I can compensate for the warmth of the cold of the light. I can up the contrast, the saturation, anything that, and I can control all that, which I can't do on a computer. Yeah. Yeah, D, and that's valid too. Like, I know enough about live streaming to get myself live. But I have been live streaming for 9 years. 10 years now, actually. 11 years? 2000 and... Yeah, because we're 9 years on YouTube. I keep getting the announcement on YouTube in my studio saying, hey, you've been on your channel for 9 years. So it's been 10 years of streaming. So yeah, I'm very new to the YouTube side of streaming. I started out on Picado, and then we moved over to Twitch, and I've been on Twitch for 10 years now. And I will say Twitch is a lot easier to live stream on, but because YouTube has a little bit more setup and makes things a little bit more difficult, because Twitch is a live stream platform, whereas YouTube is a content video platform that also has live streaming. So there's pros and cons to both, but YouTube is definitely a little bit more complicated to set up for, but things are getting better with YouTube, especially with more and more people streaming on YouTube. And when the great exodus of Twitch happened and a lot of people switched over to YouTube, a lot of improvements happened. But yeah, I'm very lucky that I have a couple of very wonderful tech friends who know a lot about it. It's funny because, like, Sammy, I helped Sammy get into live streaming at the start when she first started live streaming, and then she just took off from there, and now I go to her with live streaming questions. I know enough to get people started on some basic Twitch setups and get the basic parts done. YouTube, I don't feel confident giving a lot of info about. I can do a little bit with OBS and like help you with a setup for OBS and make sure like you've got your stream key connected and all those sort of things and get you to a basic point setup with YouTube. But there are so many people out there that would explain things better than me. Then I would just say, just go to YouTube, just go and Google it. It takes a minute. The biggest advice I can give with live streaming is when you're going for your first live, have somebody else who is there and is going to be there at the start, because the very first live you're going to have technical issues. I mean, I still have technical issues and I'm 10 years in, but you're going to have sound issues. You're going to have things that will need adjusting that you'll need to figure out. You'll need to figure out your sound balance. You'll need to figure out things that look alright on your screen may look different to someone else, so it's really handy to know you've got one person in chat ready there to go to say, hey, your mic isn't actually on. Yeah. I know what I know to do, but what I need to do after that, I'm so lost. Yeah. And I know that I can sit down and figure out a lot of this stuff, but it will take me 8 to 10 hours, and it's like I can go and ask my tech friends who already know, and it will take me maybe 30 minutes. My teens can figure out anything on their phones and computer, but you ask them to turn on the stove or the washing machine, they can't figure it out. Yep. Yeah. I don't know how to film or edit videos at all. I took a class that was half a semester that was supposed to be the beginning. Okay, that might second half still coming. I achieved Amazon table and they weren't compatible with YouTube. Yeah. Backup for anything technical. That's very handy. It's very handy having the technical person. Yeah, there are some really good I think it's Nulty, N-U-L-T-Y. I think that's the name of the YouTube one. I know they put out a lot of videos, and I'm sure they've got some basic setup stuff as well, including YouTube. But one of the things about YouTube that's quite difficult, so on Twitch I can do something like I can do, sorry Sammy, I'm going to borrow you. I know you're lurking because you're streaming too, but we're going to use you as an example. So on my Twitch chat, I can just and type a name, and Samsara Dusty will come up. And that is because on Twitch, your username is your identifier on Twitch. And it means that the bots in the background, because bots is a whole separate thing as well, which is like not something you need to jump into straight away. But because your identifier is your name on Twitch, it means you can do things like Twitch has an integrated thing called a shout out feature. So I can shout out Sammy, and if you're on the Twitch side, there'll be like a little thing that pops up and it shouts out Sammy's channel and has a way that you can follow Sammy. So you can like you can say, hey, this is a really cool person, you should go and, you know, check them out and stuff like that. On YouTube, while you can type the @ and bring up a person's name in the chat to send, like, alert them that you're talking to them directly, kind of finicky, but you can. YouTube doesn't use your name as your unique identifier. Everybody has a code ID. I learned this through the wonderful Vi. So you can't just grab that information automatically with bots. So that means that I can't set up like a shout out feature on YouTube easily, because like if I go to tag a person, that's not actually the person. We need the unique identifier, and the live stream and therefore the bots only know the unique identifier if that person's in the stream and chatting, and it's a whole thing. So these little things that are different in the background that make things a bit more difficult for certain other things. One of the biggest things that I find difficult with YouTube is that you can't check the chat is working if you want to have the chat on screen like I do until you're live, because that chat doesn't exist until you're live, which is a little frustrating. Twitch, I can test things out offline. So yeah, again, they're very different platforms. There's pros and cons to both. I'm just grateful now that I can stream on both at the same time, because I have people on both platforms, and I don't want to say no, I only stream on this platform. I used to only stream on Twitch because it was just the way that it was, and it was easier. And I started out streaming on Twitch before I even started making YouTube videos. So I have a community on Twitch, I have a community on YouTube. Some of y'all across both communities, and I love that. But some of y'all are only on one community, and that's because that's where you're comfy, and I would rather you stay comfy. So it's nothing on me to stream to both platforms at once, because I can integrate it with OBS, and so it puts it out to both platforms at once. So Miss Amy, are you re-dyeing your hair a different colour in the new year, or are you keeping the same colour? I do intend to. I've been meaning to dye my hair That's the end of my last bleach job. I think it's been over a year since I've dyed my hair. Yeah, you can see the last little dregs of my last bleach job. I have all the supplies. I've had them for probably coming up a year. I intend to go back to blue. My hair was blue for 8 or so years solid, and then I just ran out of spoons, and I have not been able to summon the energy to do the full bleach and recolor. However, I want to trim off the ends a little bit, which will basically trim off the last little bit of the bleach, trim that off, re-bleach, re-blue, and be back to my blue hair. I miss my blue hair. So that is the intention. We'll see when we get there. It's got to build up a bit more oils. It's getting a bit oily though, so it's almost at bleaching oils. I don't have a clue how to edit in Premiere Pro. It looks confusing. I keep meaning to sit down and start learning how to edit in Premiere Pro, and then I just don't. I use, what's the name of my program that I use? It's really straightforward. OpenShot Video Editor is what I use, because basically I only need a video editor to trim off the ends, trim off the... See, this is why I had the automatically adjust lighting on, because now it's blowing out because the light's getting stronger behind me. That is why I had auto exposure on. Yeah, basically I just use OpenShot Video Editor, and I just trim off ends, trim out little sections, slap it all together. I only do very basic video editing jobs, because video editing is horrendous. Again, YouTube video content making, side hobby of the hobby, and it's not always a hobby I enjoy, so we don't do it all the time. Right, I want a bit more bright red. No, not even bright red. I want to bring in the pink, which sounds odd, but here it's just really popping. Let's layer in some of you. Around here we need to have a bit of lantern glow, so you are actually a bit lighter. Even around here is a bit lighter. So glad you do YouTube. I do enjoy it. Like, I really love filming completed pages and like showing what I've done, what I have colored. I don't like sitting down and filming tutorials. I think for me the hardest part is trying to word what I'm doing, which is another reason why I prefer doing a live stream rather than like a sit down formal tutorial, even though I know people don't want to always sit through my live streams to see how I do stuff, because one of the things I struggle with is words and trying to explain what I'm doing. And I can sit here and ramble, but trying to put like a formal script together is a lot more difficult for me. And if I'm trying to explain a process and I'm not explaining it very clearly, I know I can go like, if I get a question about how I'm doing something, I can sit here, explain it, and then I can go, did I explain that correctly? Like, does that make sense? And you all can give me feedback live. And like it works better for my brain. So because like one of the things I've promised for a long time is a marble tutorial. How I did the marble page, I did that live, so there is actually how I did it live, but it's in the midst of an 18.5-hour long live stream. So I understand not wanting to hunt for it, because it was done over the period of 10 or so hours in this 18.5-hour long live stream. So yeah, like, you know, I get not wanting to sit and wait for all that, but I've been meaning to do that for over a year now, and I still haven't got to it. I very much enjoy the side hobby, but that doesn't mean I don't occasionally want to tear my hair out because of the technology required to do it. Yep. Yep. And like, it's a constant technological upgrade too. I'm still battling the lighting situation. Lighting is one of the things I struggle with so badly. And it's like, I still haven't figured out what to do for lights. So as I said, right now I can't film at night, which severely limits my recording time because I have not found a lighting setup that works for nighttime at the moment, and it may mean investing in a new lights, and that's the last thing I have the funds to do right now. Nor do I want to. So it's like, cool. Well, if we just don't get to filming, we don't get to filming. Alright, we're going to pull that out with Posca. It's good, it just needs deepening in certain areas, but I think we're getting there with our boat. Lots and lots of layers. I was told if I put out more videos during the week, it'd get more subs and it's better for the algorithm. It is. Unfortunately, YouTube likes constant uploads, and I'm just like, well, I'm not doing it for the subs. I'm not doing it for the algorithm. So videos go out when videos go out. I don't want to do a video that's just the same as others. That is just the same as others. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same, D. I have a lot of people that I subscribe to, and I admit I don't watch every video that everyone puts out. Particularly if these are raft of a lot of videos on the same topic, or it's just a topic I'm not interested in. And some people I will watch more consistently than others, and sometimes, like, I haven't actually watched any coloring videos in the last week. I've been deep diving Sims videos, so that's what I've been watching. Even though I'm not subscribed to any sim gaming content, I've just been watching a bunch of sim gaming content because I've been deep diving the Sims lately. But that's okay, because the content's there for when I do get to go for another deep dive, and I'll just watch all the content in. Yeah. As I keep saying, it's a side hobby of the hobby, so it's not the priority. And at the end of the day, colouring is my mental wellness activity, so I will always colour for my own mental well-being first, and that means a lot of the time I'm not recording. Page is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you. I'm really liking how it's getting there. Like, I'm liking how it's progressing. We might actually bring some yellow Posca into this as well. I think it's time to bring out some Posca. I want some sharper highlights. So we're going to do our same trick again of drawing on with the Posca. Just dotting in some highlights along this edge where it's getting the most light. And then we're going to use our finger and very carefully lift some of that off without smudging it in too many other places. Smudged it a bit into the black there. And I'm going to use this to just settle down a couple of them, just so we get a little bit of a sharper highlight, but not really far out, so you probably didn't see any of that. But now we get just that little bit of a brighter highlight there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just to pick up on that yellow from the lantern. Finger to settle it down. This one I'm actually going to go over with a bit of the pinky colour because this one's a little bit more on the red side. I've put that pink entirely in the wrong area, so we'll just cover that up and pretend that never happened. You're basically all dark. That's now in contrast, you're way too dark. So let's lighten you back up. And then let's re-warm you up with some pink. Have you looked in your tablets? What part did you like colouring best on this page? I think probably the lanterns, but after we had done the background. Like, I enjoyed colouring the lanterns, but I enjoyed how they'd look more once I had finished the background, because I knew that pop of light. Like, I love light effects. It's probably going to be the light reflects on the water is going to be my favourite part, because I love colouring lighting effects. I love playing with light. So anything that is a lighting effect is fun. Although I will say, I am particularly pleased with our little soldiers on the bridge, because they're just Posca blobs and they weren't even sketched in. So we blobbed in some Posca and then like removed some of the ink so it wasn't as intense, and they look pretty darn close to the original painting, so I'm pretty pleased with my blobs. And I don't know why it amuses me so, but the fact that the soldiers are blobs just amuses me. But that's kind of the trick of the eye sometimes, is that blobs read as more than blobs sometimes. Never underestimate the power of a good blob. Right, so we have some bright yellow in here. Again, we're just going to bring that down a bit, because it is a bright yellow highlight, but it also has some center areas that are not as bright. Now that one's going to be quite hard to smudge without getting everywhere. Tap the finger once. And then the secret to make things look light is to have contrast, so we need to go in with some darker dark on this tiny little lantern. Am I the only colorist who loves watching true crime while I color? No, I know there's a few colorists that actually like watching true crime, and I will at times watch true crime as well. I have to be in the right mindset for it, just because certain topics can be triggering to me if I'm not in the right mindset for it. I do enjoy true crime though, but again, have to be in the right mindset for it. I watch a lot of random stuff while I color though. Like, I do enjoy having other colorists up and coloring while people are coloring, but I will just as easily put on live streams, TV shows, podcasts, TTRPG real plays. It depends what I'm working on, and I think it also depends on the page vibes, if that makes sense. Like if I'm working on a page that I want to be darker and more moody, like, you know, a lot of darker content actually kind of goes with it. But I notice if I'm trying to color something very light and ethereal, I tend to put on more lighter topics. And then like if I'm colouring TTRPG related stuff like dragons or fantasy or fae, I tend to put on a D&D roleplay, like a live play or something. I don't know, I tend to match my mood a little bit. I'm realizing more and more. I also really love putting on, if I'm colouring a book fan page, a book, blah, 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 words. So like watching Game of Thrones while colouring the Game of Thrones colouring book, listening to the Throne of Glass series while colouring the Throne of Glass colouring books, or listening to ACOTAR while colouring the ACOTAR colouring book. I kind of like matching the content that way a little bit too. There's something quite fun in that. It doesn't have to be, but yeah. Yeah. I watch anything while I colour. If I run out of colours, YouTube, I'm off to TV movie commentaries and reactions. If I could just, oh my gosh, the TV movie deep dive genres, like not deep dives, like the people who summarize entire TV shows, and these will be like 8.5 hour long videos or something. Like I watched somebody summarize the whole Desperate Housewives series. And that was like 12 hours of content, and I ended up watching the whole thing and just having it on in the background. And it's like, I haven't watched Desperate Housewives in years, but I was like, oh yeah, I remember that show. I never really made it past the season. I just ended up watching the whole thing because it was better than watching the whole show because it explained everything. But those sort of things where they like deep dive a topic and you get like a 5 or 6 hour long video. I love long form content like that where they deep dive a topic, because it's the sort of thing that you can have on for hours while you're colouring. And if it's a topic that you're interested in, you can just deep dive along with them. I don't know. Yeah, like another one that I watched recently was the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, like about the production behind them, and it was like an 8.5 hour long video on like all the background stuff that happened with Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and all this production stuff. It's really good. I should find it again and link it because it was really enjoyable. I think that's one of the beautiful things about YouTube, is that you just stumble across topics sometimes. You can just end in the rabbit hole. But the difference between YouTube and like the TikTok shorts, which is also a rabbit hole for me, is at least with the YouTube, I tend to get other things done because I don't have to keep clicking for videos as well. Whereas with TikTok, I get very much sucked into the void. And then it's 8 hours and I haven't done anything except watch TikTok, which is why I deleted the app from my phone. Right, so even though he's got a white shirt, there's very little white in his shirt. And so we are using an actual discontinued Polychromos colour, and it is a very precious Polychromos that they need to bring back. This is 139 Light Violet. It is a perfect muted pastel purple, and I'm so gutted that they don't make it anymore. YouTube helps because you don't stay in shorts forever. Exactly, Vi. Exactly. I found out that TikTok separated the viewing and posting. Ah, okay. Okay. That's good to know, Vi. Again, I just find it easier not to have the app on my phone at all. I know how bad I am for short form content and getting lost in it. It's bad for me. It's how I know I'm getting very burnt out, is when I go and lay down on my phone and watch Instagram shorts or YouTube shorts. But yeah, I'm very clearly burnt out and need a nap. Yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard, D. I try to keep, I call my streams a safe space. I try to keep it a very, I call it a glittery bubble. And to do that, I do avoid talking about certain topics. But that's because for me and how I am with my mental health, on certain days I would be fine discussing practically any topic, but then if I'm having a really bad mental health day, I need to know that I can go to a safe space where certain things just won't be discussed. And rather than trying to change the goalpost depending on my mental health in the day, it's better for me just to create a space that is always safe and just keep the goalposts at that safety area. And it does mean that we don't discuss certain things, but it also means that, like, it's not only safe for people to come and hang out when they're not having a great day, but it also means that I still am able to stream when I'm not having a great day. Again, because mental health is such an important thing for everyone. But it's what works for me and my mental health, and that doesn't make it like the way that it has to be done. And I really respect and like hanging out in a lot of channels that do discuss a lot of topics. So for example, the wonderful Vi, who has just joined us over on Twitch, does have some really beautiful days of discussing topics and certain issues and things that are appropriate for, not appropriate, that's not the word. I'm also not having a good word day, so I'm not explaining this very well. But yeah, things are discussed, and it's a really wonderful space for that as well. And it means that on the days when I can and I want to hang around with those, hang around in those channels, I can go there and know that, you know, it's the space that these things can be discussed. And then, yeah, getting the moods. Don't do that to me, bye. My brain can't process. But yeah, it's that also, if it's not a day that I can handle it, I just know I don't go in there that day. It's the same thing, like right now, Sammy, we call my space a safe space for everyone, but Sammy's space is a safe space for consenting adults. And so some days I don't go to Sammy's stream because I'm not in the space for that. So that's how we word it. But then also there comes with that the understanding of I can try to make the space safe, but everyone has their own safety requirements, and safety means different things for different people. So I can't be universally safe because I don't know every person's single individual triggers. For example, I am petrified of ants. I don't expect people to never ever colour a picture involving ants. If I see someone that's live streaming and they're colouring a picture of ants or they're playing a game with giant ants, I'm just going to peace on out of there because it's a bit icky for me. You know? But I don't expect that because that's a personal trigger for me. I can avoid the very common, obvious triggers. But again, at the same time, I do talk a little bit about mental health and mental wellness, and I try to focus on talking about ways to keep yourself mentally well, but that can be a trigger for a lot of people. Yeah, it's a balancing act, and it is very difficult. At the end of the day, we can't make the perfect space for everybody, but there are so many spaces out there that if the space just isn't quite right for you, just keep looking, because you will find your home on the internet. There are so many wonderful people out there with so many wonderful spaces, and you can find that space that's, you're kind of weird, you know? We're all a little weird. We all have our own little quirks, and the world is a big space. We do the best we can. We can. And that's it, D. Yeah. Like, it's not intentional. I don't intentionally, like, but I know I ramble. Yeah, so we try our best. Hi Jester. Yeah, again, I just try to keep mine a glittery bubble of safety, but that's also a safety tool for me. Because if I'm not having a great day, knowing that I can still come and stream, and we've set up the space that is still safe, means I can still stream even if I'm not having a great day. But at the end of the day too, if my mental health isn't great, I am not going to stream. And I do that. I do take months off at a time. I've taken years off at a time. Because you got to keep yourself well, you know? You got to look after you because you're a precious being and you deserve to be looked after. Was it reading on the video chat? Yes. Yes, so also for anyone that's in here, because I know we've got quite a few people lurking that is a bit confused, I have dual stream going. We were talking about Twitch and YouTube before. I'm streaming to both platforms, so if you're hearing me respond to chats you're not seeing in your platform, directly above me on the screen is both chats combined. So you may be up there. It's got a little icon if it's a Twitch or a YouTube chat. But it's how you can chat across platforms. Right, I'm pretty happy with his white shirt. Like, it looks white, but there's actually almost no white in there. There's lots of pink and yellow and purple. Because, of course, it would have a lot of light reflex. I think I'm just going to do one more pass with the light violet. My precious, precious light violet. That I try to avoid sharpening or practically using unless I really, really need it. Because it's so precious. Then we're going to deepen down the side here a little bit and just add to the contrast. I want Payne's grey. I want that bluey grey and a very gentle light layer. Just to cool down the side that's away from all the lanterns. See, again, his underside is shadowed here, but it would be still getting light from the lantern underneath, so there shouldn't really be any shadow over here. I don't understand their lighting on the reference, but okay. Monday and Tuesday are going to be so busy. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do groceries on Monday. I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah, it's the time of year. We have been, Mum and I have been, like, buying bits in advance because, you know, especially while things pop up on special. So we're doing a really easy, low-key Christmas. We usually do anyway, but we're actually doing, we're calling it homemade KFC. We're doing these really yummy seasoned chicken pieces. So we've got like full chicken pieces, we've got some tenders, and we've got some nibbles. And they're seasoned, they're really yummy. So we've been buying those on special for a while. And so we've got quite a bit of that stocked up. And then to go with it, we're doing mashed potato and gravy. So we've already picked up all the gravy stuff. We just have to pick up potatoes. And then we're serving it with coleslaw. We're not making the coleslaw. We just ordered a kilo bag of this pre-made really yummy coleslaw that's really fine. So it's real easy to eat. So we just have to pick that up on Monday. And then I'll make a loaf of sourdough on the day, so there's some fresh bread. And that's our main meal. That's it. So on the day we just have to bung this chicken in the oven for an hour and boil some potatoes. And there's our lunch. And then Dessert, it's bring your own dessert for the rest of the family, and we've got one, but we make it the night before, and it's literally a pre-made sponge, which we already picked up because we found one on clearance a month ago, so it's been in my freezer since then. So you take a sponge, you take a can of boysenberries, and you take fresh cream, and you break up the sponge and you layer that in with the juice in the can of the boysenberries and the cream, and then you do another layer, and then it sits in the fridge overnight, and it turns into like this creamy berry pudding dessert. It's so delicious, and again, so easy. So yeah. And pavlova is a big thing over here. Pavlova, if you've never had it, is it's like a meringue, but it's more marshmallowy in the center, and then it's got the crispy outside. We don't make that because screw doing that, so we just buy them pre-made, and then we just dump some cream on top and dump some fresh berries on top, because of course it's summer, so it's berry season, and that's our dessert. It's really, really easy. We try and do it. Try to do simpler. Yeah, like, again, Mum and I are both, like, we're both chronically ill, so we don't want a lot of effort. It's still going to be delicious, it's still going to be tasty, but at the end of the day, it's about spending time together as a family, and to slave over a kitchen for hours and hours and then takes away from the time spent as a family. So, you know, it's like, nah, keep it easy. I think we're even going to use disposable plates so we don't have to do tons of dishes too. Still need to finish my Christmas shopping. I'm gonna get. Oh, I hope you get out soon, Dee. Yeah, we only do gifts for the kids, for the nibblings. So that's already done as well. We just have to pick up batteries for one of the nibblings toys. But yeah, I love giving gifts, but I am kind of glad we don't do gifts anymore, because we're all, you know, most of the family are adults. Myself and my mum are both on disability benefits, so it's not like we're exactly got a lot of spare funds. We keep it pretty chill, just the kids. Yeah, it should be about spending time with the people that are important to you, you know? End of the day, that's what it should be about. I have yet to try pavlova, but I blame Bluey for an episode for that. I want to try it. It is a really delicious dessert. If you can make a meringue, it's not actually hard. I have made them before. It is a time thing, because you're just making a meringue. So lots and lots of egg whites, and sugar, whipping it up, and then you just slowly bake it in the oven. And so yeah, it's just like this fluffy, marshmallowy goodness. It's slightly crispy on the outside, and then you just load up the top with fresh cream and berries, and yeah, it's so much sugar. It's so much sugar, but it is really nice. But yeah, summer New Zealand. If you don't know what a pavlova is, let me find you a photo, because you gotta see what it looks like. That's a good photo of it. So this here is probably a good example of a pavlova, your classic Kiwi pavlova. So you can see that crispy meringue base. You can see how cracked it is. Nobody cares if your meringue is cracked. The inside is super marshmallowy and fluffy, and so it's all sweetness, and then you just dump a bunch of cream on the top, and then you load it up with fruit. So right, strawberries and blueberries is kind of like the real common one. A lot of people do kiwi fruit. I am allergic to kiwi fruit, so we don't do kiwi fruit in my household, but that's really common too. But yeah, it's just fresh berries, fresh cream, meringue. Slaps pretty hard. Disposable plates and utensils are a must around the holidays at my place. Magic disappearing plates. Yep. Yeah, well, we don't have a dishwasher, and Mum and I both hate dishes, so we try to avoid. I actually do need to go out and do a load of dishes some point today, because there's not many dishes, but these two really big dishes, because these two crock pots that have been soaking for a while, that are probably ready to be drained and actually washed. So I should get those washed, because they're just big. Yeah, dishes is the worst, and my brother said he would actually bring around disposable plates so we're not left with a ton of dishes, which is very, very nice. It's not the right colour. Looks so good, yeah. It's these debate if it's Australian or New Zealand, so I just say it's Australasian. Either way, it's a really delicious dessert. And yeah, very easy because you can buy the meringues already made, the pavlova base already made. So it's just top it with the cream, top it with the berries, boom, dessert. Alright, I kind of screwed up on his eye there a little bit. Wonder if I can use something to kind of cover that up. We can. I mean, I don't like how they've drawn in the eyes anyway, because they're not even. Nope, you're just going to be... Alright, let's just deepen this eye, because they would be a little bit in shadow. Why is the computer beeping at me? It's fine. Right. Time to go a little weird. Bring out bright pink. We did a little bit before, but we want to amplify this. And we want that pale yellow. See, his cheeks have got underlighting on them. They do understand underlighting. They're being lit up from below. Same with his forehead here. I just decided that the other parts don't exist. Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's do a base of brown and pink because you are very red. Over here. Add in a bit of cinnamon. This is technically an Albrecht Durer instead of a Poly, but that's fine. It's what we use to base the skin anyway. Or the orange. More intense on the pink. Bring in some of the sepia of the boat. Wow. Holidays is one of the few times I can get out the good dishes, and I love doing that. Ah. See, I'm just that type of person that would just use them all year round, because, like, but you deserve fancy plates. But I am also the kind of girl that uses a salad serving bowl as a ramen bowl because I like how big it is. I know. I just use whatever. I just use whatever serves my needs at the time. Got this arm here, which isn't as crazy as our other arm, but does still have quite a bit. It does have still quite a bit of pink in it. Still getting a lot of that warm light reflect. It also has some lighter highlight areas though. It's a bit lighter in general though, so we don't have to go as extreme with our shading. Do want to make sure we get in a little highlight there. Highlighted. That's what's throwing me off, is that line, yeah. Still pretty prominent on his nose though, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. Not happy with this face at all. And I think it's because of the eyes, because the eyes are so bright white in the reference. We've kind of gone too dark on them, so hold your breath and do it very, very carefully. Demon eyes. We will go in there and add in new pupils. I just wasn't happy with them. I was really annoyed with how they were done in the first place because the pupils weren't even. So we're just going to block those out and start again. And then bring in this warm yellow highlight. That was really dumb to do right now because we've just done the eyes and I can't smudge it. Use a pencil to smudge it out. I prefer using the finger, but the pencil will work. Okay. Didn't quite ruin that then. Good. I do use a good dish as company dinners as well. Make the guests feel special. Aw, it's sweet. Very, very carefully clean up the top edge of the eyes. Give them that smolder. And then fine tip pen. Got ink today? You do. That's better. Because they had like drawn in the eye, the full width of the whites of the eye. But in the reference, he's looking up. So his eyes aren't actually covering the full white of the eyes. It's just one of those small touches. But it just makes it that little bit more like he's actually looking up at Rapunzel and not slightly cross-eyed. Which is how he looked before. Okay, much happier with that now. Actually need a bit of grey because you're actually a little bit more grey. Okay. I have to go now, Amy. See you next time. Bye, Amira. It's lovely having you here. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And yes, hopefully we'll see you next time. Did you see that Camilla D'Erico came out with a new book called Catitude? No, I did not. I might have to look at that. I love colouring cats. I'm guessing it's about cats because it's called Catitude. Pile of rope. Right, tiny little Pascal. Time to do some more blobs. We've got our dark green Posca here. I'm going to use this to actually just base out most of Pascal. And our blobs that make up our little friend here. He's so tiny. Then we've got the bright apple green, and while it's still a bit wet, we're going to lay this in over the upper parts where the highlights would be. And that, do that foot. So a little bit of dimension in there. And then taking a tissue, because this is super saturated, very carefully without smudging, remove a bit of the excess so it's not so obvious Posca blob. And now fine ivory, a little highlight on the back. Here's Pascal. Again, blobs. Just some little blobs. Never underestimate the power of blobs. Right. No, it's not shaded on the reference, but you should be darker. It's just annoying me so much that you're not as dark. Okay, pants. Artsiendo, hello. How are you? Been lurking for a little bit since your last stream. Didn't have a spoon for chat. So hi for today and your other days. That's all good. You know you're always welcome to lurk here. You don't have to say hi if you haven't got the spoons to socialise. I'm doing alright, considering it's day 10. It could be worse. So I'm very much enjoying how this is progressing. We're making progress, you know? How are you going today? Sounds like Mum might have beat me to the dishes. Whoops. Alright, seems a bit weird, but we're going to add some of the skin tone in here because there is a little bit of the peachy skin tone. Out of my way, Poscas. What am I looking for? The yellow. Let's have a little bit of a pink glow there, which isn't going to layer at all because I've done too many. We want to deepen in here. Alright, my hand's kind of blocking there. That'll help hide that black line of the boat. And again, provide a contrast between the highlight areas. Those paints were pretty straightforward. They really didn't need much. Okie dokie. So, where'd that cool grey go? Add another little bit over here. It's still quite vibrant, and this is meant to be quite a bit in shadow. Alright, so now we've got this little pattern on the side of the boat here. We're just going to etch in roughly some colour. We're going to tissue it up. Again, we want it to be there, but we want to remove the detail, so it's just a faint little detail on the boat, but not. We want to take advantage of the fact that they go slightly translucent, so now it looks like somebody's just painted a design on the side of the boat, but it's not staring out at us. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to use our cold grey with a really, really sharp tip. And we're going to come back through where the lines are, etch those back in, and this will scrape away the top of the paint pen and look like the slats of the boat. So it's like it's painted on the side of the boat. And there's our design on the boat. I've seen you have the courage to tackle that book. How are you finding it? I'm really liking it. Like, I still don't, like, it's not going to be my favorite book I pull out of the shelf every month, and it's workable. I still wish the book had finer lines, like fine grey, light grey lines. The paper itself is handling it pretty well, and I'm chucking a lot of media at it. So yeah, the paper itself is not doing too badly. It's still, it needs, when I ordered it, I thought I was ordering the bigger one, and I really regret that it's not the bigger one. That would make it a lot easier. But yeah, it is really enjoyable, and I like how it's coming together. We're taking inspiration from this, but it's also keeping in mind it's not going to look identical. But I like how it's coming together now, especially because we're like making our way through it quite a bit, and we've done quite a bit. We've just got Rapunzel to go on the boat, and then we've just got the water. So we're like really on the home stretch of this one now. Before anyone asks, I doubt we'll finish it today. We're gonna see if we can finish Rapunzel at least. Make sure we fill our pinky pimples. And we'll start on the dress. See some really obvious dark folds that are actually in blue over here, so Even up here has a bit of blue. The shadow. Actually, do a bit more blue first. Because a lot of the lines that they've put on here as references don't actually match the reference image as well, so it's proving an interesting challenge. But yeah, I kind of like the challenge. Like, it's pushing my brain to think about things differently, so I'm kind of enjoying that from a challenge sense. But it's also the reason why last stream we had to switch to easy marker coloring, because my brain was like, I cannot process this today. Fair enough, brain. Fair enough. Alright, we do want to bring a bit more warmer pink into this part of the skirt, particularly on the highlight side. Yeah, itchy nose. Hay fever season. Now we're going to start bringing a little bit of cold grey just to deepen some of these shadow areas. Even though we've got some different tones in there, it's still quite flat. And edge is actually all a light yellow highlight from the lantern. Lost some of that into the hair, but that's okay. I can bring that back out with the hair. We might even bring out some light yellow Posca. With other finished pages from other books and blah, blah, blah. I'm curious to see what I can do now the collection is bigger. Yeah. I find Winsor & Newton white ink works well to grey out the lines, but I don't know how that will react to water media on top. Yes, I have heard a lot about that. I do have some Liquitex white acrylic ink. I haven't tried working on top of it as well, and considering how I like to layer pencils on top, like a lot of the acrylic inks produce such a smooth flat surface that a lot of my harder pencils wouldn't grab to it. Like maybe Prismas would grab to it, but I've also just accepted we're not fully blocking out lines here. Some of the lines we've managed to block out where appropriate, but some of them we just can't block out. Like in these clouds here, there's still some lines that you can see, and same with the mountains, but the grand scheme of things, it's not too bad. It's not ideal, but you know, not a lot we can do for a lot of these lines because the color shift is so subtle. They don't have the right Poscas to fully work around it. So like right now, the white of Eugene's shirt has really obvious lines in it, and I kind of hate that, but there's not a lot I can do except use white Posca, which isn't right because there's no white in his white shirt. But what I can do to help balance it is make sure when I work around his shirt is go really dark, and that'll help the lines disappear a little bit more. They're not going to be completely blocked out, but we can make them less prominent. That's more what I'm working towards with the lines, is just how can I make them less prominent. You ran out of tape? No! Oh no, Amy, I hope you can find some more. I hate when you're on a roll and then you run out of something. Didn't know how that book would handle wet media, but it looked fine. Yeah, it handled the Inktense base alright. Like, yeah, no, a little bit of crinkling. Not really any bleed through or anything. So, yeah, it seemed to handle the Inktense base, but that's also like Inktense base isn't too much. I will say though that the Inktense, usually when I activate it, you can kind of smush it around the page a little bit and blend it out a bit. And some papers have like a where it just sucks the water and the ink, and like even with Inktense, when you activate it, you can't move it. It's not quite at that point. There was a little bit of movability, but it was pretty stuck there. So that was something that I noticed, is that it's almost like a thirsty paper would be the words. It absorbed it pretty quickly and did not let it go. So yeah, I don't know, doing a whole page with wet media, I would be tempted to like gesso the page or something. But I also can't imagine doing this whole page in like paints or something. But I'm not as skilled a painter as some colorists. I can do a little bit. I can do a lot of abstract backgrounds in my paints. I'm good at doing abstract because it's just smush it on a page. Alright, let's bring in... Oh, no, not you. You. Bring in a little bit more warmth. Don't forget you've got another one up here, Amy. That would be very like me to entirely forget that there's a shoulder and arm up here and put everything away and then go, crap. You're still waiting, Dee? Oh my goodness. I hope they get you through. I don't think the issue with one's different from acrylic inks. Normal pencil's fine. Don't know if trying a piece of paper. Yeah, it could be worth trying, Endo. Could be worth trying. I think it's fun to try and replicate as much as possible, but it's fun to take the inspiration and let it go. Exactly. That's kind of how we're working here, is like, yeah, I'm using the original to sort of help a little bit with color inspiration and stuff like that, but I've just accepted it's not going to look like the original, and there's definitely some things that we've taken our own liberties on, like the flowers down the bottom are very different, but they didn't use that colorway anywhere else. I wasn't going to introduce a brand new color for these little flowers down the bottom. It annoyed me. And I changed his eyes too, because also the lines don't match up. Sassy phone, hello, hello. Yes, I did see. I just haven't responded yet, hun. It came through right when I was going down for a nap, so I would have swiped off to clear the messages and then probably forgot to actually go back and check. But yes, I did get that message. Thank you. Oh, you a flea or are you a ladybug? do digital art on my phone, so I have specific needs, but it's a stabilizer, which is really cool. That's handy. The stabilizer tool is very, very good. I don't have a stylus for my phone because it dropped out years ago and then I accidentally rolled over it. So it broke. And it's one of many broken things on my phone, including a cracked screen, and it has no power button. So if I need to use the power button, I have to use a toothpick. Because there's just a hole where my power button fell out. That there. That's meant to be my power button. So you can wake up your screen. And the phone sensor, the fingerprint sensor at the back it doesn't always work. So I have to use a toothpick to boot it up. It works. Very much. Very much Amy needs a new phone. Amy cannot afford a new phone and does not want to pay $90 a month for a plan for a new phone. But is probably going to have to bite the bullet and do it at some point because it's getting ridiculous. I think your page is turning out beautiful with or without lines. Thank you, Endo. I appreciate that. I am really liking how it's progressing. We are definitely making a bunch of progress on it. Alright, we're just going to shade the hands, and then I'm going to pull out some Poscas to do the highlights on the dresses. But the little ruffle thingamabob, we cover over parts of the skin with it. So we might as well do this part of the skin first. Actually, we also cover over part of the neck too. Okay, we're just going to do all the skin. So it's about the same colours as before, but we've got more prevalent highlights on this one. Apparently she's getting a bit more light. She's not as in the dark as Eugene. I could sassy foam, but usually what I do is I buy the latest model Samsung, because I like Samsung. I buy the latest model Samsung and then I hold on to it. So that's an S9 that has been going since 2017, I believe, is when I upgraded, 2017 or 2018. So I tend to buy the latest model, but then look after it and hold on to it for a good amount of time until I absolutely cannot use it anymore. And so I can still use it. So it's like, I know I'm going to have to replace it sooner rather than later, but it's also like I can still use it. So we're fine. But when it gets to the point of I absolutely have to replace this, probably because it doesn't boot up anymore, then I usually grab the latest model and do the same thing again and use it until it's absolutely done. Yeah, 3 more years for this phone I have. Nice. Yeah, I don't like the planned obsolescence. I find it really stupid that they want us to spend $1,000 on these phones and then in 2 years replace it with another $1,000. It's like, yeah, that is 2 and a bit months of me working just to pay off a phone. And it's like, no. So if I'm getting a phone, it should last me, like a phone should last me 10 plus years, really. I understand I use my phone a lot, so, and I do need my phone because not only is it, you know, content, Instagram and social stuff, it's also how I contact people in a medical situation and a few other things. I also use it to log into work because of safety login authentication things. So yeah, and that'll be the big caveat, is when I can no longer log into work with my phone, and then I'm going to have to replace my phone. Because I don't think there's an alternative version for logging in. Which is a bit silly that they're expecting us to log in with a phone. But then who doesn't have a phone these days, you know? Promised myself 5 years when I spent 2k on the S22. Yeah, I think when I got the S9, it had literally just come out, and it was, again, replacing a phone I'd had for 8 years. And it was at the point where it was, like, it wouldn't charge, the battery couldn't charge without it smelling like it was melting. Like, the battery was gone. So it was a safety, like, yeah, I have to replace this now. But yeah, that was the latest model, so that's what I got. Had to replace my S8 a year ago. The battery wasn't holding too long and the screen stopped working randomly. I waited till I had no choice, but for the price I've used it till it's almost unusable. That's kind of where I'm getting at. Artsy, like, this has to be charged multiple times a day, and if I'm going anywhere, I have to take a portable battery charger with me because it only lasts about 3 hours with the battery life. But I'm home most of the time, so honestly, it's not a big worry. I just have a charger nearby all the time. And it's got, like, I don't know if it'll show, it's got white splatter on it. It's got this chip missing out the bottom, which does have one little crack here, but that has only appeared this year. And that is because I had to take the case off because the battery was getting too hot. So that was like okay, yeah, we're definitely getting to the end of the life cycle when I took the cover off. There is a permanent chip on the camera, so all my photos have like a little spot on them from the camera. It's very small though, it's like 1 pixel. I know where it is. No one else has ever seen it and commented on it, but I know where that mark is. And then you can see we've got the chip at the back as well, the crack at the back from when I dropped it without the case on. The fingerprint reader, half the time it does not read my fingerprint anymore because it's so worn away. We lost the S Pen years ago, so that's fine. But then, yeah, as I said, the power button, it's completely fallen out. Like, just fallen out. It's meant to be like a little button, like on this side. It's just completely fallen out. So there's nothing there. But a toothpick works. Oh, it's so hobo. But it does the job. Like, it still works. It's not great. And maybe, yeah, if I had to, like, go places for work or I went out more often, I would be a bit more like, yeah, no, I need to have a better functioning phone. But I'm at home 90% of the day. It's like, it's fine. We just have it on charge every day. I turn it off overnight because I don't like charging it. Or I use it till it stops working at night because the batteries run out. Right, what colour is Rapunzel's eyes? It looks like they've done a light grey. I thought she had like a blue eye. Tangled Rapunzel. Let me look at some images. Green. She's got green eyes. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they've done a light grey. Have not pulled out the right bright green, but it's so minimal. I think we can get away with it. Gonna be another hold your breath moment. And then a little bit of grey. Again, we're working so micro tiny right now. Probably can't even see what I'm doing, and I do apologize, but I need control of the pencils to get in these tiny little areas. Alright, we need to do inside her mouth, but I just coloured her teeth because I just coloured the wrong area. Damn it! Okay. Oh, this is going to be hard to fix up. Okay. Here's her teeth back. And then very, very carefully use this to scrape down the white that we just put there to reduce the teeth size and also colour the lips at the same time. Okay. Fixed it up. Right, now we need actually some purple. We need to bring in her chin a bit and actually give her some shaping around the bottom of her face. So it looks like she actually has 3 dimension and her face isn't a blob, as much as we love blobs. So tiny. I hate shading things this tiny. It's so tiny. For me, it was the same because I'm always at home. I wasn't worried about the battery, but skiing went like me. Yeah. I mean, I'm having some like processing issues, and I can tell it's like taking longer to think about how to do things. So, again, I know it's on its way out. It's not a case of if but when, but it's just not a priority right now. Yeah, it's called planned obsolescence. It's the same thing with companies making it so they design pieces to run out, so you are forced to replace it, and it's like, I don't agree with it. Because like there should be like, yeah, the little chip on the camera is annoying, but like the battery should be lasting, or it should be that you can buy a replacement battery for cheap. I shouldn't have to replace a whole device, you know? And that's what's really annoying for me, is when something goes and it's cheaper to replace the whole thing rather than just repair or replace the part that's broken. Because, like, for example, vacuum cleaner. You know, we currently have 3 vacuum cleaners that we need to dispose of here because they're all broken. They've been unrepairable, and it's cheaper to buy a new vacuum cleaner. But now we have to dispose of 3 vacuum cleaners, and they're just sitting in a pile of electronics that we've got to figure out where to get rid of. I have found where I can get them gone now. I just have to save up the money to pay to dispose of these electronics. But it's just the point of it. It's like, you know, they just needed a roller head, or they just needed this. Like, they're repairable. It's just the manufacturers don't make parts for them anymore. But yeah, I'm well aware that I am going to have to bite the bullet and replace mine very soon. I'm just putting it off as long as I can. Right, we're going to cover over all this embroidery by just doing dots and blobs and swooshes, because we love our blobs. And then once again, lighten it up by using our finger and just removing some of the opacity. And also, while doing this, you can use your finger, especially if you've been using like Polychromos or something. I find Polychromos with all the layers, there's like a little inherent amount of dust that sits on top. So you can use your finger and smudge it over the Posca, and that little bit of pencil dust goes into the slightly damp Posca and lightens it or tints the colour a little bit. That's another trick that I often do to sort of blend my Posca in a little bit, so it's not so like, this is a Posca highlight. Yeah, I like using my finger to sort of blend. I know it's kind of bad because of the oils in your fingers and whatnot, but also, meh. It's a good tool, it's free, and it does the job. Now, over here is where we're not going to blend it in because we have a super sharp highlight on our back there. And we can take the opportunity to cover up. I think that might have been just a little earthquake then. Just a little one, just a micro one. Either that or the house was settling a bit stronger than usual. And then we're going to use the white and go over these ruffles. And just so we don't spread it everywhere, pick up the extra. And we want to spread up a little bit. And then we want to create some brighter ones at the bottom. Add in some bright highlights to her back highlights. Highlights on the highlights. Entirely missing a highlight there, and that should be a pink highlight. Way too much pink. One in. It'll highlight the edge there. There's a highlight around there, but it is really not too strong of a highlight. Not as directly in the light. You're so zoomed out, you probably couldn't see any of that. Sorry. But you can see now our little highlights and all the little details. The dress, I do want to go over that line. That line down the center, I don't like it. Because it looks like a sharp fold line. That is not there at all. And then, because it's not as bright as the embroidery, we'll go over it with a pencil and take it down even further. Very, very lightly. If you have a sharp pencil, it will scrape off the Posca, but if you've got a really, like a dull pencil and you work really lightly, it will allow you to layer on top. Empire State had an earthquake. Yeah, we in New Zealand, we're on the Ring of Fire. We're right on a couple of tectonic plates, so we do get earthquakes all the time. But yeah, so it's very common just to feel like a quick little like doo-doo-doo. I mean, I'm talking that one was minor. Most people wouldn't have even felt it if it was one. It could have also just been like a heavy truck. But yeah, get very used to them. Okay, the hair. Now, the hair, we're going to do the same technique that we used down here on the bush. We're going to actually shade all the hair as if the flowers aren't there. And then we're going to use our Poscas to bring in the flowers. Because that's the easiest way for my brain to compute how to do it. And I may need to bring in some other colours into this. I may not have the right yellow. We may get away with what we've got in so far. I'd like to, because then we don't have to introduce any new colours. But if we do have to bring in a bright yellow, we'll bring in a bright yellow. That's actually more like our neutral blender tone. We need to start with darker. Actually, let's start with dark sepia. Let's start with our darkest. I like working light to dark. Nice, really sharp tip. Make sure we know that that's an ear in there that we're avoiding. We use this dark brown to sort of hide those little bits of lines that are left from her dress. Blend those in as well. Do have that. I need to bring in more golden. Some of these flowers I may regret doing before I do the water, but I want to have Rapunzel finished off before we tackle the water. The water is going to be the big job. Also what's going to bring the piece together. Here's my Prisma. Page is looking amazing. Thank you so much, Dee. Keep working while I try to sleep. Have been awake for 28 hours. Oh my goodness, Endo. I hope you find that sleep. I hope it is the relaxing, safe space you need to pass out and get that sleep, because it is way too long to be awake. Thank you so much for popping in. Don't want to do too much yellow Posca because it's going to cover up some of our flower lines, but we do want to use this to cover up some of our other lines. Okay, so hair flowers, yellow, pink, coral pink, ivory, light purple, fluoro pink, that'll work. It's dark purple. and some white, and I think just a few colors. I think the white was already activated, and maybe a couple of others, but oh well. A couple of these are running very low. I'm waiting for the Boxing Day sales, and hopefully it might be quite a good one, and we can stock up on a few bits and pieces. I definitely need to do another Posca stock up. Alright, you're quite a bright flower. A bit of a yellow center. Add some yellow dots to the side. Boom. Flower one. Then we have like a vibrant pink down here, so let's add a new. And then we have a vibrant yellow to the side. And again, we're doing our blobs. The coral pink in the center. A little bit of ivory off to the side, like it's some loose flowers. Boom. I just find like stabbing away some of that excess color just helps it look less like it's Posca docked on top, and it looks more like highlights. Whoa, okay, keep in mind the light purple is uber juicy. It also means when these things happen, you can pick up some of the excess. Right, so we've got almost like a warmer pink, so let's do the coral pink. You're too coral. So let's drop in some baby pink. Sort of smush that all together. Bit of a lighter flower here. Do some ivory. And it looks like there's a couple of like little pink dots off to the side. So we'll do that. So we've got a couple of that darker pink, using the florally sort of pink for a nose. We've got a bit of a yellow situation in here. Got some light pink. And just because it's looking a bit plain, and I know we need to bring in some more, let's dot in some of this floating purple. And then for contrast, we'll drop in some of the dark purple as well. See, it's literally just dots and blops and bits and pieces, but your brain reads it as flowers. Because it's so small and so tiny. And that's why I love the power of the blob. Got some white and some pink blobbed up here before we go to some bright pink. Where did I put the purple? And yellow, yellow. Excess. You're a bright pink with ivory worked into you. Could possibly be some green on the side of this one. We ain't gonna introduce green into this. Or on the coral. Okie dokie. Right. A big yellow flower there, and there's also a big yellow flower here. Be careful not to get this on the dress. Right, pink. Ivory. White pops for contrast. Get to the bottom of the yellow. We didn't do the center of the yellow, so right, pink. Juicy, juicy purple. More pink worked into it. Okay, that whole area, that purple was too juicy. That's fine. Drop that out. Then bring our white back in. Dot in our white. That to lighten up that. Bright pink, and let's dot in some darker purple just to deepen some of those. Pink, ivory, yellow, and some white. Okay. Bright pink. Little hint of the corally pink. Yellow. Wipe that excess off. Ivory. Wipe that excess off. Add in a couple of brighter highlights. Same up here too. An area of dark purple, very subtle purple highlights there, yellow in the center for that, which we actually need to dry down and keep pretty bright, and then we'll do the white around that. So get some yellow down here, bright pink. Make sure we don't get it on the boat ledge, but we can always scrape it off afterwards. Touch of coral in the center of that one. ivory in there, and then do the ivory here. Comes down here are quite bright in comparison to a few others, so and then we're going to take our yellow Posca and just dot that in places, so it could be highlights, but it could also just be more flowers where that needs a little bit of cover up. Not so dotty on the front there because it's a little bit less. And same thing with our ivory. Could be more flowers, could be highlights. Your brain will read it how your brain wants to read it. Cover up any of those lines as well. Use the purple anywhere we want to add extra flowers that might be in the shadows. It'll help read a bit more as shadow tone. Add some definition between our clusters. Now what I'm doing is I'm just doing slightly bigger blobs, but kind of pulling out what could be actual petals on certain flowers that we blobbed in before. Kind of placed everything, and now I'm using this to sort of define clearer petals rather than just lots of dots. Not on the whole flowers, but just maybe picking out one or two petals. It helps it read a bit more. Have to work over that section again. That purple came out too intense, and I knew it would, and I still did it. Yeah. 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 Melting everywhere. Even though I'm just chilling, working on a totally different page, I feel like I'm kind of absorbing what you're saying anyway. I'm filing it away for later. I'm so glad, Winter. Like, I just ramble about what I'm doing, but I hope the techniques I'm explaining are making sense. Also, hello Sammy, hello Raiders, welcome on in. I hope your stream went well. I know you were playing that Wolf Amongst Us game again. Hello Smolt. When did we shout you out? 2 hours ago. We can shout you out again. Yo! I borrowed you to shout out. To explain shout outs. But now we can do a proper shout out for the wonderful Samsara Dusty, who is a wonderful game variety streamer here on Twitch. Does a mixture of gaming, but also like lately there's been cleaning, mini painting, sewing, variety in the truest sense. And yeah, just a good time. We even did colouring over there one time when I was with Sammy. We did a colouring stream. It was fun. And to any of our raiders that might have joined us that haven't met me before, kia ora, my name is Amy. I am a colourist based in Aotearoa, New Zealand, she, her pronouns. And we are working on this page here. My camera has really skewed now. This is a page in the Disney Dreams collection by Thomas Kinkade Studios. So we have the original oil painting on the side here, and they gave us some lines so we could colour it in. You joined us just as we finished off Rapunzel here, and we were just doing all the Posca flowers in her hair, which is just a lot of dots, but your brain reads it as flowers because that's how our brains work. So we just finished off the boat basically, and all the characters on the boat. I'm just having a look to see if I want to highlight any more sections. I may change as we do the water, but what we've got left to do is the water. Which I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm not looking forward to. The water is going to be the suckiest part. And it's also one of the biggest parts of this page. But we'll make it work. Lightening her hand a little bit there because she should have a bit of a glow. Not too far, so we'll use the pencil to scrape off the excess. But yeah, we just used a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of Poscas to shade in all the different flowers on her hair to do all those. I feel like the dress needs a little bit more contrast. These are sort of things that once you start shading in other areas, then you can see and be like, oh yes, this is where it's needed. Yeah, how's everyone going today? Nice, it's looking good. Thank you so much. I'm really, really liking how it's coming together. I'm just not really looking forward to starting the water. And I'm going to have to actually figure out how we're going to tackle this water now. Because we have a few different areas of the water to consider, and they all have different vibes, almost. So, bring you back to our reference image. So there are some distinct areas in this water. So up the front here, this water is a lot more textured. We have a lot more choppiness to it. We have a lot of colors in the water here. We have shadows to consider and reflections of the boat. So this is going to be a lot of reflections. In here, it's a lot more subtle and flat looking, but there's still texture, and of course there's still highlights. So I'm thinking probably like this is almost a gradient and then it turns into streaky, so it might be easier to start at the back and just gradiate down and try and create a nice smooth variations of blue, but still the blues, the greys, not really a lot of purple in the water up here. It's mostly just that dark blue and the greys. So I think we're going to be using a bunch of Payne's grey, a little bit of black, probably more on the Payne's grey side, the cool greys, and our dark blues that we've been using to, I think I've only got the one blue out. I think I've only got indifferent blue out. Yeah. Wondering if maybe I should pull out dark indigo at this point too. Because we're going to need a darker blue that's got, the dark indigo has that sort of green black undertone. So those are prisoners. One here. Another tiny pencil. We use that back there And then as we come down, we go stronger into the indifferent blue, start bringing in some purples into this section here. And so things like the yellowy orange highlights, I think we're going to bring that out with the Poscas. We haven't used any orange Posca. We definitely have that fun colour radiating through. See, maybe this is how we bring the orange in, because we haven't used it on the lanterns at all, but we could use this to highlight the flowers a bit more. Use that to bring in some specific highlights that work against the coral pink. No, you know what? Coral pink actually pulls it off better and brings in those pinky tones. Goodbye, orange Posca. Then we don't have to introduce a new colour, because despite all the colours on here, we haven't actually used pure orange. We've used like a golden yellow, we've used peach, but we haven't used pure orange. So if we bring that one in for our highlights, the highlights over here are going to be a ton of that coral pink, yellow, and ivory. And then we've got more pure white over here, and that's more like the lanterns reflecting. And then I guess this purple is like clouds, but it is more purple on this side, so I guess it starts bringing in the purple of the clouds, which is our more grey purple. And then when we get down here, purples that are reflected are more warmer, which is a reflection of her in her dress. So maybe we do bring out the more Poscas. These are bigger highlights though. Well, that can kind of be cut off at the boat anyway. And then that can go right up to this edge here of this land. So we could just work on here. And in fact, I could start on these little sections up here. Yeah, if we start with these 4 sections and just work that way around, that will process it a bit better for my brain, I think. I have a little bit of the purple to bring in, but we can do that last. Okay, I think that will work. Sorry about all the rambles. It's kind of how I process through on my brain to try and figure out how I'm going to tackle things. Okay, so if we start up here, we have an area that it's even been kind of sketched in for us. So the sketch lines don't match the reference or match the logicalness of the page, so cool. We have like a darker section over here. And we do have a little bit of purple coming in for the reflections of the bridge. Everything's quite grey over on this side. Grey. Bring that a little bit up onto this lighter, I don't know if it's a rock or foam. Use this to try and blend out this line that they've sketched in here that I really wish I hadn't of. Where's our black? Not much black, just a couple of areas that are a bit darker. And so I'm going to also try and make a point of only working horizontally to match sort of the ripples or the wavelength from the lake. Like, I'm not going to be doing any vertical, just to try and emphasize if there are any areas that aren't as well blended, it'll just look like more texture of the water and not like all pencil strokes. So we'll try and bring together a bit of it that way. Right, so we do have some of the lighter blue coming through on the side here. Being careful not to get it on the edge of the boat. We did just get it on the edge of the boat. I'll just work back over that. I've got it's like a highlight line, but it's not really strong enough for a Posca. Yeah, the Pablos are bringing out a little bit. Very even of a highlight line. Love the rambles. It's like my brain is a cat and the rambles are you doing that continuous circular petting, scratching thing. You have a cat now, you know what I mean. I do. It's one of the reasons, like when I was saying before about being quite alright talking to myself, it's because I do this to myself when I'm working and be like, okay, so if I need to do this, and then I need to do this, and then I need to do this to achieve this, I've got to do this. And I don't know, I just find talking through the process helps me sometimes. I am going to bring a little bit more blue into the bottom of the archway here, but that's sort of like the water is now reflecting up on the archway a bit more. Not bad, we did one tiny section of water so far. One tiny little section. Let's see if we can at least get another section done. I don't think I even finished all the, like... I think it's like water foamy, like maybe this is on the edge of a waterfall or something? I don't know. There's some sort of white grey texture here. I'll bring a bit more blue into the bottom there. We have a nice big bright line going right through the centre, joy. Comes right down here. The darkest area starts behind Eugene. Good, because now I can hide the edge of his jacket line. Just a slight bit of purple on the edge here, just really minimal amount. There is a bit of grey over here. This is quite a greyed out section of water. It's in the distance, it's a bit foggy. Going to, that's not the right color, Prisma. Bring in that white Prisma. Work this underside. In fact, let's go back over this and also see if we can cover up some of that. Highlight right in here. And a bit of grey. Repeat on the mouth so I can swap back. So that's how we roll. And variations in tones around here. Ignoring that white line through the center. We need to blend out that big splooch in the middle there. No, we need a softer pencil. Pablo. Pablo. Quite the distinct highlight across here. And we will pull out the white Posca for this one. It's quite distinct. Sort of dotted on across. Lift it up. No, wrong colour. We'll take the Inderbreen blue and just work over it to trim down the edges by scraping away some of the edge, but also work over the top so it's not so bright. Still a highlight, but it's still not as intense. Bring back in the purple. Use some of that paint spray and blue at the side here. Yeah, lots of little subtle colours to just bring in all those little bits and pieces, but I think we're getting there. The grey carries on around here a little bit. Now we want to try and go quite dark around Eugene's white top because that'll help with the contrast to make the top read even more white, but also hide that outline. Gonna have to redo our glow around the lantern here. Do that afterwards. My brain just wants to go like, no, we've got to work horizontal. Yeah. Work the blue quite lightly up here, because that's going to have a bit of grey worked into it. Again, we're still quite grey and fogged out in the distance. Grey. very, very subtly, we're going to work some of this light blue Pablo in, start bringing out some lighter areas. Each of our highlight. Intergreen. Intergreen blue is one of my favorite blues. Also my perfect hair color. When I dye my hair blue. And see how much of a difference it makes on the outline, because it's just blending in the outline, so now it's not as like in your face of an outline, and in turn the shirt looks brighter and more like a light reflection on the shirt, because we've got that contrast of the dark around. Where's the grey? Castle Art Gold and Harmonia sets work very well in the God Jewel book. At least I think so. That's good to know. I haven't decided if I'm going to get it or not. It's been neat seeing all the work being done in those that do have a copy. But yeah, I haven't decided because I don't, like, I have some Hanakals on and I enjoy it when I do colour it, but I don't always gravitate towards Hanakals on. But part of that could also have been, like, I feel like next year opening myself up to colour in anything is going to really help me refine even more what I do gravitate towards colouring. I have ideas of what I tend to lean towards and what I know I colour in a lot, but a lot of it I'm still like, well, I haven't worked on this book for 2 years, but that's because of the trying to work my shelf thing. So it'll be interesting to see what I end up gravitating to a lot. Sleepy Ghost with the most. Hello, hello. Yes, we are working on a page from Tangled. We're working in the Thomas Kinkade Disney Dreams colouring book. So it has a plate of the oil painting and then the line so that you can colour it. So we've been working on obviously the Tangled section, and we're just about, I say just about done, we've still got all the water to go, but we've just got the water left to go. So, you know, we've made a bit of progress, which is quite nice. How are you going today? I love Tangled. It's one of the few films I'd rewatch over and over as a kid. I rewatched it over and over as an adult. It slaps pretty hard. It's got some good music in it. And I love the I See the Light scene. The song that they sing during the scene. Just so good. Alright, shouldn't have done that. Get out of it. I'm more Moana obsessed these days. Got to watch a new one. But, oh my god, I love the first one. Hey is brilliant though. I know here one of the things that they've done, and they're trying to get it into more and more theatres, which is really cool, is because of course Moana 2 has just come out. So they're screening it, obviously, as per normal, but they also have a Te Reo version of Moana. And they've been screening the Te Reo versions as well, which is super cool to see because, of course, Moana is based on a, an island character, and Māori culture, the Māori people came to Aotearoa by traveling on those boats and discovering. So you can track the indigenous people of New Zealand back to the islands. So there's also a real connection there, and so they did do, of course, the Te Reo version, and then put out the Te Reo version of Moana, but now this time they're screening the Te Reo version, which is really, really cool. It's super cool that I managed to get in on the stream so far. They feel like I've been a part of the whole process. Yeah, that's why I have obviously my live stream playlist, which is ridiculously long, because every time I live stream there's another video in there. So, you know, if you need like 30,000 hours of content, but I do put out, like, that also goes into like a Thomas Kinkade playlist now because I've been working on this book, so you can go back and see the process. But it's definitely something about coming back to stream and seeing that page that someone's been working on step by step, and it's real time, and it's with the distractions, not like a time lapse or anything. It's like the real time process. Just how long I can spend on a page. I do want to eventually get my lighting situation sorted so we can do more night streams as well. Not that I've had the energy to stream long streams, but like Sunday is day 2, so in theory Sunday we should be able to stream all day 4 hours, and I would love to be able to keep streaming well past daytime, but my lighting may not handle that, so we'll see how we go. We're gonna finish this on Sunday, definitely. I can tell you right now, we ain't gonna finish it today, because I am starting to feel the need to go and take a nap, and I do have work later on tonight, so I am gonna have to listen to my body and take a nap. I can feel it hitting, and I can feel I need to go and lie down for a while. But I am very happy with today's progress. We did finish off the entire boat and all the boat characters, and we got started on the water. I think that's probably a reasonable place to leave it. Like, we've just made a start on the water. We've still got a lot of process to go on the water, and I don't want to feel like I'm rushing the water. Because when I rush, I make mistakes, and this water is going to take brain spoons. It's not going to be just a blue all the way through. There's a lot of colours in here, so yeah. But yeah, I think that's where we will leave stream today. I know I should go raiding on Twitch, but once again, I really don't have the spoons to go and raid another channel, so I think we'll just leave it here. I know it's rude of me, but I don't have spoons to hang around and socialise on a stream today. I have enough social spoons to speak on my own stream. But yes, we will be back on Sunday, and we will get this page finished. And then we will figure out what to do from there. Like, we have a lot of other options to carry on with Sunday, so we'll see how we're feeling. But yeah, it should be a good stream. Definitely fun to get this page done. I can't believe I love how it's turning out. Like, I really love how it's progressing. So yeah, we'll finish off the water. We'll do a quick little review. I'll decide if I want to make these flowers pop a bit more or anything. Just so different. But yeah, I love how it's progressing, and I really think it's going to come together well once we finish all the water. But yeah, make sure you take care of yourself. This is chaos season, so, you know, take the time to look after yourself. Make sure you hydrate, make sure you stretch, make sure you take your meds and all that good stuff. And have your snacks and all that sort of, you know, lots of self-care. It's a rough time of year, so look after yourself. And we will be back, as I said, on Sunday, roughly 10 a.m. New Zealand time. Again, if it's a Zoomy day, I may go live early. So watch the YouTubes, because I'll schedule a stream. Watch the socials, because I'll post. And yeah. If you're in the Discord, you should get the automatic event. I'll start the event so that you'll know that it's time to go live. Yeah, all the heart to you. Thanks for being here. It's been a really good, fun, chill stream today. Good vibes today. Take care. I'll see you all next time. If I remember where my buttons is. I know how to do this. I'm a professional streamer.